Everybody, I'm gonna make sure the audio is okay, and I'm going to let everyone know in our Discord that we are live. I'm trying to start a little earlier, only 20 minutes early, but I'm hoping to push it up even earlier as we keep doing this. Live again. We're gonna play indie mobile games, then do some game dev. Come join and chat. And we are Emoji Popcasts on every conceivable social media site. Alright, so that's shared to Discord. I want to hear the audio on my computer, and I still need to open up the chat for YouTube. Let me do that right now. I'm really curious how this audio is sounding with the fan on. I just want to make sure that it's okay. Testing. Okay, let me turn the fan off a little bit. Okay, I need to open up the YouTube chats. Hello to everyone watching already. Hi, what's up, Sakran? Thanks for joining us again. Let me know if you got any mobile games I should try or thoughts on any of the games we're about to play. Let me pop out this chat so we can see your messages. Hi, I'm first. Woohoo! Games live. Timey. Hias. Yay. What's up, Sakran? Am I saying your name right, Sakran? Okay, so this is our Facebook group if you haven't joined already. It's called Mobile Game Dev. We're up to 126 members, and we also have a Discord. Sakran says no. Let me know if there's a way I should pronounce it. There's a game called, is there a game called No? That would be a cool name for a game. Alright, let's see, I'm still kind of waiting for anyone triple Party Royale. Let's check it out. Party Royale. Cool. I actually had this installed at one point. Let's play it. It looks pretty unique for these kind of games. I'm guessing you mean Party Royale. I can't spell. Gotcha. All good. I think I found the right one. After this, I want to go through everything people have messaged in our groups, whether it's games or opinions on things, and we'll just every morning around 10 a.m. we'll do a kind of debriefing on what's going on in the community before I start developing my games. And just as a reminder, I stream Monday through Friday, starting around 10 a.m. Pacific, but on Mondays, we do our big community stream where we literally just play indie mobile games the whole time, and I'm talking to some people who have like promo codes for their purchasable mobile games, and we can start giving out free codes to these games, and I want to keep building this community, especially for the Monday streams where everyone plays the games, reviews them 5 stars, gives their feedback to help out the developers, and we can do that for everyone, and we can do this every Monday, And then, of course, we do a mini version of this every morning on our stream Monday through Friday. I'm obsessed with mobile games, if you haven't figured that out by now. Let me see, says Sakran. Don't allow. One sec, let me get this thing open again. Here it is. So this is Party Royale that was suggested, I think. Is this the right one, Sakran? I'm gonna keep changing your name differently. I'm gonna keep saying your name differently until I think I got the right pronunciation. Let me know. Welcome Party Royale or tutorial. Okay, this is interesting. Move to the green zone. Okay. Oh. Oh, and with the right you can turn. I like that. So one of my big complaints. Okay, Sukran says yes. Awesome. One of my big complaints with these Fall Guys clones is that they're trying to take a 3D experience and they're turning it into a mobile game experience, and the platform doesn't really work if you're just going in a straight line, but they've added the ability to be able to move the camera, so I like that a lot. Oh, and there's a jump mechanic as well. Okay, let's try that out. Grab the red guy and push down. Oops. Grab and push the red guy down. So I'm gonna grab him. I pushed him, but then I myself fell. Run to the finish line. Okay, this is interesting. I like the tutorial. So far it's better than the other clones I've played, besides Hex Stars. That's my all-time favorite of these kind of games. Claim reward. Free dance. Sure. I like the curtain animation. Okay, so this is like a more legit clone of Fall Guys. That's interesting. So I see levels, tournament, hexatiles, levels. Okay, so you unlock different modes. That's cool. Let's see how. Okay, so this is like straight up a clone of that game. It's annoying that they show you the controls after the timer. Oh my god, this guy has screwed me over. The bot missed the obvious door that they should go through and just like pushed me out of the way. It was so weird. But yeah, I dig this. This is like a better translation of the game than most of the games I've seen, as I said. Oh yeah, let's go, baby. Can't see what's going on. Win. I'm pretty good at this game in Fall Guys at that mode because I always like hang back just a little bit. I think I'm pretty good at that timing. Game summary. So you get XP and coins. I'm guessing the XP levels up. Levels. Okay, then I unlocked a new one. Let's play this. It's laggy. Oh wait, it actually just disappeared. One sec. Oh, that's funny. I hit pause and the game kind of still moves. Let me open it up again. Yeah, it's gonna be a little laggy. At the beginning, it's always a little. I hate lag and loading, says Sakran. Me too. That's just kind of gonna happen though because of the way I'm mirroring these games. Let's hit resume. It's weird. You can pause and the thing still moves, and you can kind of use that to your advantage. Okay, so I like this controller setup better. I still feel like it's kind of awkward as a mobile game, you know, like. But it's cool that this experience is available on mobile for those who like it. But for me, I'm not really into this. I don't know. Levels, hexatiles. So let's see how they did their hexatiles. It's weird that they don't show the controls until the game's already started. It feels slow. See, like, what? I feel like I have no control over what's going on. Okay, so like usually this game mode is like really fun, but now it's kind of boring, and I feel like it's kind of buggy and out of control for me. But again, this is better than a lot of the clones I've played that are just straight up awful mobile games. But this one is a little better. I still feel like it has some problems. I'm curious if anyone else out there has any opinions on this. Feel free to play. It's called Party Royale. It was suggested in the chat by Sakran. Yay. Go back. So if you don't do well, you don't get experience. That's cool. Something that annoys me about Fortnite is that even if you don't play the game mode and you suck, like, you still get a lot of experience points. It's like, it kind of makes doing well at the game kind of meaningless, you know? So there's a tournament. I want to see what that is. Oh, so that's kind of like where you go through the different... I don't want to do that right now. Okay, so this game is called Party Royale. Let's see what people have to say in the comments. I've been playing this game for a week and it's awesome. The people who made this game are putting time and work into the game. It's really good. Only problem is that the summit map, the AI gets stuck in some places. It makes the level easy to win. Let's read a couple other reviews. You should download it. Thanks, developer. Here's to read. This game is stupid, says someone. Okay, whatever. Really fun. Yeah, so to me, like, they've made an experience. One sec, yeah. They've made an experience that it's not different than Fall Guys. It's just a worse version of it with worse controls and worse polish. I like that they're providing this experience for those who can't play and they can play on mobile. But to me, when you translate a game to mobile, I like to see it changed in a way that really, like, fits with the mobile controller system and the mindset of mobile gaming. To me, this feels like too much of a straight up clone, but still appreciate what they're doing. This looks like a lot of hard work that they put into this, and I could see a lot of people, not me, but I could see a lot of people really liking this game. Yeah, so thank you so much for Sakran for recommending that. That was actually really good for me to play that, because I've been kind of playing a lot of these games, and I don't think I've played that one too much, so thank you so much for that suggestion. I want to play Hex Stars real fast and kind of show the difference and see. Let's see if there's any update. Doesn't look like it. So to me, for the mobile game, for me the Hex Stars does a better job of translating the core appeal of Fall Guys into a gameplay system that really works for mobile. So in this mode, I'm trying to be the first one to get to the bottom, and so it's constantly engaging because you have to constantly jump, and so every moment you're like making all these choices and testing your skill in all these ways. Oh, there it is. Oh god, looking for the empty thing. Oh, found it. First place, let's go. So to me, I prefer games like this for mobile because I'm constantly engaged. It feels to me like a better gameplay system for mobile because I'm constantly thinking and engaged. If I wanted to play Fall Guys, I would play Fall Guys, you know what I mean? Dev Yeti, you're so good. See, I am so good. It's because I play this like almost every stream. I'm starting to get a little better. Collect. Continue. Yeah, so thanks Dev Yeti, thanks Sakran. Welcome to the Emoji Popcast, the Emoji Popcast Live. And so I wanted to kind of go through some stuff that people posted in the Facebook group. This person a couple hours ago, Anon I think it's pronounced, says something I'm trying to create. Prototype experimentation. Shooting cannon fire at dragon and dragon fires back. There's some feel to it. This looks a little like Metroid Prime. I'm a fan of this. Did you bring Numbo Jumbo? Not yet. I'm talking to my team right now if they want to bring it back. It's kind of older, so we'd have to kind of do some stuff to make it work again. But that's something that's a work in progress. Thank you for Sakran for being interested in my old game Numbo Jumbo. But yeah, let me see if I can get you. Let me see if I can send you a version of that game so you can play it. I want to try to do that. The graphism did look great. Graphism. What do you mean by graphism? That is a cool word, though. Heads up, I'm eating breakfast a little bit. Is that weird to eat food? Is this gonna turn into some fetish like streaming thing where I eat food? The design looks great. I will be back for games. Cool, so Cram, thanks for joining. I'm looking through these to see if people shared games that we can play. Graphisme is the French for design. Okay, I see, interesting. Are you French? Cool. The video says, yeah. Awesome. I like that we can like have a community of new game developers that are all from different backgrounds. You know, it's cool. Yeah, the design looks great. Yeah, it looks amazing. Look at this. I think you're talking about this one, or maybe I should say touche. That's the word I'm familiar with. I know un, deux, trois. That's basically all I know in French. Booty Tantra says, check out our action platformer game, Breaking Gates. It's currently a premium game on the early access on the Play Store. So it's an early access premium. I'm talking to some of these developers, and I'm talking to them about maybe getting promo codes so I could give people watching access to the game, maybe. So that's kind of something. I think we're going to play this on our Big Monday stream. I found games in Sakran. Feel free to share them. I'm always down to see what mobile games you guys are interested in, and I love giving feedback to random mobile games like this. Yeah, I saw this. I love how this platformer is looking. And they have a lot of like weird visual stuff. So at the very beginning, they hit this box, and then like this animation shows what she's like looking like and stuff. I don't know. I really like that effect. I can see this being a really fun platformer. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the control system for mobile. To me, this could be like a PC console game, but still cool. Still cool that people on mobile can have that experience, as always. Interesting. Here's another mobile horror game that just came out last month. Death Park Scary Clown Survival. Oh my god. Sakran says 6 and Stumble Guys. Oh, look at that. Oops. Stumble Guys. I don't see it on iOS, Stumble Guys. I think I've heard of a game called 6, actually. Yeah, I have played this, and I have downloaded it before. Let me try it again. You need to test this. Yeah, I think you're right, Dev Yeti. Let me open the YouTube link, and let's... I don't want to spoil it for myself. I just want to see. It's called Death Park. Oh god, you guys are gonna make me play horror games? Oh my god, I thought I'd get away with like playing easy, you know, simple mobile games, you know, fun, carefree, but now I'm gonna play like a demented clown game. Explore Dark Amusement Park. Oh my god, okay. Okay, it's only for Google, maybe. So we could try it, but I'm guessing it's gonna be too complex for my emulator right now. Let's try it. Why is there no spooky version of Spooky Mansion on mobile, by the way? Pretty close, pretty easy to clone. Spooky Mansion. I don't think I know that game. I'm guessing it's not the I Spy game, is it? Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. I'm guessing this is what it is. Well, hello there. Do you think you have what it takes to brave the terrors and the terror? Or will you fail in your journey through the abyss of my manor? Only you can find out. I could see this being a mobile game, if this is what you're talking about. This would be perfect for mobile. Can I please play Hex Stars? You can play Hex Stars. It's available on iOS and Android. What do you mean, Sakran? Because you can definitely play Hex Stars. You just gotta download it on iPhone or Android. Oh, there's like little things that jump out at you. Yay, says Sakran. Yeah, I would really love to know what you think of that game. I really love it. Okay, Death Park. God, Death Park. Let me open my emulator. Sakran mentioned this game 6. I'll play that while everything's loading. This takes a while to load. Oh, 6 is a Zynga game. Interesting. I didn't know they made puzzle games like this. I know they make casual mobile games, but play, tap. Okay, so it's partially physics-based, partially... So it's kind of more about like balancing. So I love the chance versus skill in this game. Oh god, oh god. No, no, no. Raid Shadow Legends. Oh, Shadow Legend. I don't know this game. Yeah, me neither. They're advertising a lot in their Android environments. Okay, what's it called? Horror Park. Google Play Store. Has anyone played? There's that game. I think it's called Genshin something. Like everyone's saying it's gonna change the mobile games industry forever. This like 3D RPG game. Genshin Impact, I think it's called. Death Park. Bye. Secret skins. I mean skin. Yeah, there's a lot of skins in that game. Okay, I'm gonna try to download it. I really don't think it's gonna work because it's like 3D. The game on the left looks kind of cool. I could love it. Oh, I tried it. Oh, the 6 game. Nice. Yeah, I love the gameplay system. It looks like there's not a ton of long-term value to the game, but I think the core gameplay system is amazing. I feel like they can make a more fleshed-out experience around it, like because there's a lot of skill in picking the blocks, and you learn more each time, and you're better able to do it. There's a lot of chance in the physics, just inherently. The physics is chancy, and every time I'm guessing the level's gonna be a little different. That also adds chance, and so I can see someone playing it over and over again, as long as there's a motivation to do it, as long as they're progressing towards something or getting something of perceivable value. Horror Park. Go to skins and to the last skin. Are you talking about Hex Stars, Sakran? Oh god. Scary clown survival horror game. So the game includes the words death, scary, clown, survival horror. They got all of the keywords you need for a horror game. Alright, let's try it. I really doubt this will work. And I'm praying that it doesn't work. I tried Genshin Impact. Oh, I see. Dev Yeti says, meh, it really feels like a gacha mobile game when you need to pay to get all the heroes, and it will continue to add and add and add, more like a gacha, more like gacha Impact. You should tweet that. That's hilarious. Okay, that's good to know, though. Thank you for sharing that. Gacha mobile game. Okay, interesting. Hello, Lueo. What's up, Lueo? How's it going? Feel free, if anyone's a developer, feel free to share like your game or whatever, or your update on your game, and I'd love to play it. We do our big Monday. It's 6. Gotcha. We do our big Monday. Whoa, there's like a skin at the very bottom here. Oops, I don't want to share. Why do I... How do you play again? Oh. Oh, so it's like they give you an Irish-themed St. Patrick's Day skin. It's a pot of gold. Interesting. Oh, coins like fall out as you play. That's funny. Hello, Lueo. How are you? Good, says Lueo. But except that it's really beautiful, like Breath of the Wild. Okay, I was kind of getting that Breath of the Wild vibe, just visually interesting. I see some articles that are like, this is forever changed mobile games, and I'm like, okay, I haven't played it, you know, open mind, but like, guessing it's not gonna revolutionize mobile games, considering it looks like a console game, but on a mobile platform. It's even more that this. This is totally the graphic motor of Breath of the Wild. Interesting. It makes sense they copied that look. Interesting. I think you're right that might be driving a lot of this. Lueo says, I have a question. How much polished the game should be so a publisher can accept for a test? What level of polish? I would love to know what everyone in the chat thinks about that. I've never worked with a publisher, so I can't really tell you that. Let me think about that, though. To me, I think for a publisher, to show a publisher for a test, I just feel like whatever it is, regardless of polish, everything else, the game needs to convey to the publisher what the unique core appeal is. Devieti says, what do you call a publisher? Google Play? I'm guessing he means like the third-party publishers that will sign a deal with you and then will advertise for your game. So many of these mobile games, they sell certain rights to publishers or something like that, and publishers help them build their audience for their game with ads and stuff, and then they share the revenue to some degree or whatever. Lueo says, yeah. So, like, to me, like, this is my gut. I've never worked with a publisher, so I'm really curious what other people out there think. I think you should post this in the Discord, because there's some people who work with publishers who would probably answer your question better. I don't think you need this anymore in today's world for mobile game. I'm not sure about that. I'm curious what you think about this, Devieti, because I think a lot of games you kind of do need a publisher, because especially for these kind of casual, hyper-casual, gameplay-focused games, like, it's impossible without a bunch of money to build the audience for the game, you know? Like, viral marketing can only get you so far, with especially the way these games are made. A lot of them aren't very viral. You kind of need ads in order to build your audience. The ad from Instagram and Facebook are way enough now to get people. I could see that if you really push, and you probably know better than me, so that's really interesting to hear that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I see some of these games with a ton of followers, so like, if you really invest in social media, maybe you're right. Maybe you don't need to work with a publisher. With $50, you can go so far with Facebook and Instagram. Interesting. But if you're trying to get to the top of the charts, I'm guessing you need a lot more than $50 in order to get in the top 100 or whatever. Loio says, I agree the competition is high now in the mobile games market. Devieti says, it's not even just that. Yeah, feel free to keep sharing your perspective on this, because I'm totally like a noob in this. You guys are the experts. Tibisoft says, I tried Facebook ads, but got just very strange users. Interesting. I love this discussion because everyone's got different perspectives, different experiences, and we can really, I want this community, this is what this community is about. I want us to all get together all the time and like raise each other up, share the knowledge, learn the new things. Devieti says, oh, it also depends on the type. We can do a test right now. Interesting. Alright, well, Sakran says it's 6 league, not some. What is the test we can do? I would love to put it to the test if you have any experiment in mind. You guys just figure out how to make successful games. I'm just going to sip the orange juice till you figure it out. Devieti says, try to type idle game in Google Play Store. Thank you for distracting me with your questions so that I don't have to immediately play Death Park, Scary Clown Horror Park, or whatever it's called. Type idle game. In Google Play Store, you'll not be able to find an idle game with less than 10,000 users because the idle community is constantly installing in new idle games. That's interesting. So maybe you're saying like in certain genres, maybe it doesn't matter to the publishers much because there's a built-in fan base already actively searching for the games. Laughing face. Yeah, I'm hilarious. My mom doesn't believe me, but you guys know I'm hilarious. 5 mil, 10 mil, 10 mil, 10 mil. 50k downloads, 1k downloads. So, but this is a new game that has 1,000, so I think your hypothesis is still correct. 10 million, 5 million, 10 million, 10 million, 5 million, 10 million, 1 million, 10 million, 10 million, 100,000, 10 million, 1 million, 10 million, 5 million. Let's scroll all the way to the bottom. So the top 20, 50, looks like they all have millions. Here's the final one. Idle Guy has 10,000. Maybe it's newer. Most of the other ones. Here's one with 5,000. But a lot of them are in the millions. Or the hundreds of thousands at least. Even these early access games have over 100,000 downloads. Exactly. Now you can check why I start an idle game. Makes sense. Check. Idle Lumberjack 3D. Let's do it. This idle is really bad. Idle Lumberjack 3D. Install. I'm gonna look at it. So how many downloads did it say it had? 10 million plus downloads. I can clone it in like one day, I think. Tibisoft says, we had a game, spent some money for Facebook ads and Google ads, and got no real users. Maybe the game was so bad. Laughing face. I think 10 million users. So I've only, as a test, I put $10 into Facebook and Instagram or something like that, and I didn't really get very many players, but my ad wasn't very good, and the game was still in development, so maybe that had something to do with it. It was also a web game, so maybe that just works out differently. I don't have a conclusion on this yet. I want to keep hearing from people. 10 million plus users. Is it possible, though, that they worked with a publisher? Like all these games, there's a lot of idle games that work with publishers. So there's one, and the idle community is constantly changing of game. I think when you're out of common type of game, you don't have the community coming to it. Let me look up. So there's this new game called Merge Idle RPG, I think it's called. So there's this game of someone in our community that I really recommend people play. I think it's really fun. I haven't rated it in Android yet. And it looks like they... I mean, Emoji Pop may get all the Bubble fans. Yeah, so again, that's true. Like, I think that you're right that it's great to find like the genre or the certain type of game that has a built-in fan base instead of creating your own gameplay system that's totally different. Same thing with Hex Stars, which I've played a lot. Like, that's the Fall Guys clone kind of trend. Like, find the niche or whatever that you think you can do differently or set yourself apart in, but that still has that built-in community. So yeah, there's like tons of bubble shooter fans. I don't see a lot of innovation in the bubble shooter space. I don't even see many new bubble shooters being released that are just not straight up clones. So I think that's interesting. Devyeti's asking Tibisoft what the game is. But yeah, Merge RPG. This is like a new idle game. It's been out for like a month. I think it's a really good game. It has 1,000 downloads. It's been out for like a month or two, I think. So I don't think like... I think that there is value to working with a mobile publisher. Hey, what's up, Mattman PS2? I'm so glad you're here. We're having this discussion about publishers that I think you could provide really interesting perspective on. Because you actively work with a publisher and you've made some successful games. The original question was... Let me find it. I have a question, says Lueo. How much polished the game should be so a developer can accept it for a test? What level of polish do you need? And that was followed up by a question by Devyeti saying, I don't think you need any more. Devyeti says they don't think that you need publishers anymore. So the first question was, how much polish do you need in a game before you show it to a publisher? And the second question is, do you even need a publisher in this space anymore? I personally said I think you do for certain kinds of games. You need the advertisement. Without the foundation of money in order to buy all these ads to get players into your game, I think you need that to work with a publisher for most games. But I think it's Devyeti disagrees and says, look at all the idle games in the Google Play Store. They all have millions of downloads, and a lot of them aren't even very good. So they say you don't even need a publisher, but I'm thinking probably a lot of these idle games do work with publishers. I'm not really sure about that, though. But then also the question of how much polish do you need. I kind of answer that with like, it's not just about polish. You have to convey the appeal of the game and prove to them that it's going to be successful, or that has a high chance of being successful. And so to me, polish maybe in some ways helps that, but to me, I think it depends game to game. Madman says, I made like no money before I worked with a publisher. Self-promo is hard. So I really respect that opinion. You've been making games like this for a long time, and now you've been working with a publisher, making successful games, and so I think that opinion has a lot of credence. Luea says, what I mean by polished is polished graphics, rewards, and skins. Okay, that's interesting context for that. I want to open up Tibisoft's game. Logos. Interesting. So it's on Google Play, I think. Devieti says Lueo depend on the type of game. And Lueo says, yeah. So like maybe you when you show it to the publisher, maybe you like set up the skeleton for skins would be my suggestion. Like, because maybe if skins are important for the value of your game and improving the long-term value of it, maybe you like have the foundations of the skins, but you don't have to make all of the skins. You know what I mean? For rewards, I think like these rewards, implementing those kinds of features show that you understand the psychology of mobile gamers and the space. So maybe it's good. Maybe it is good to like start to include those features at least, and without fleshing them out all the way. Would be my gut level feedback. But I'm sure everyone else in the chat has probably more experience and could answer that question better than me. Devieti says, Tibisoft, I think you lose at least 80% of the community just by setting a price above 0 nowadays, and it stops people chatting about it. Matt, man, we all know you're rich. Devieti, yes, on itch I tried some option for free, got high visibility but almost no downloads on Androids. Yeah, true Slueo. Madman says there are lots of different kinds of publishers, some that care about polish, some that only want a video of your gameplay. Arguably, you don't even need a completed game. That is really interesting to me. So I think that's an amazing answer to your question, that it's publisher specific. So maybe look at the publisher, maybe talk to the people who've worked at the publisher, look online. Maybe that will tell you what you need to know in order to... So it sounds like you need to like cater to specific publishers, not just publishers in general. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. Let me see if I can find it on Google. Logos. Madman PS2 says, speaking only of mobile publishers, FYI, I think you want 100% polished and completed games for PC. Gotcha. Good to know. Logos means like logic in Latin or something, right? Logos. Logos. There's a lot of logo apps, so it's hard to rank in the search, which I think might be a big deal. Tipsoft says there's a link on itch page. Okay, cool. Where is this link? Right here. Windows purchase. Google Play. Got it. Logos brick negator. Okay, I have to search it on the emulator. Brick negator. Here we go. Eastern Raider Games. Install. This looks interesting. I'm excited to play this. Pipisoft says, yeah, based on name, it is not well positioned. Madman PS2 says, over time, you learn to polish quickly. Interesting. So I thought I saw some numbers in here. I'm excited to play this. Maybe I was wrong about the numbers. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining the stream though. Like, I thought this has been a really informative chat. I already have learned a ton just from listening to you guys, so this has been awesome so far. It's a grand start to cover your chat. Bye. Lueo says, I see. So do you think if you have a game, if it doesn't work with a specific publisher, you should go and try with another one? That's an interesting question. I think that makes sense, given they all have different perspectives, different things they're looking for. It's kind of like, to me, it's, maybe I'm wrong, obviously I don't know what I'm talking about, Matt Man's the expert, but like if you're trying to get a book published, all these publishers are looking for different books. They all have different perspectives. They all have different audiences they're targeting. So it makes sense when a novelist is looking for a book publisher, they send it out to hundreds of places because everyone's got different things they're looking for. Madman PS2 says, you learn a lot working with different publishers. Got to find the right one for you. That's interesting. So maybe different publishers are compatible with different developers. That's interesting. Yeah, I think it makes sense to try multiple publishers. I think I've talked to a lot of devs that are looking for publishers that are shipping their game around all over the place, shopping around for a publisher. Open. Let's play Logos Brick Negator. I guess I'll give it 5 stars after I play it, to be fair. That's a good point, says Lueo. Matman PS2 says, my end goal is to be a publisher. Not there yet. Interesting. You want to be a publisher. That is interesting. So what does it take to get to that goal of being a publisher? Is it a financial position? Is it like you have to be able to afford to help out these developers maybe? Publisher that still makes games. Got it. That's super interesting. I love that goal. I love that ambition. That seems like a great idea, especially since you have all this experience and like you can be like the publisher who develops games, and that could be really great for indie devs to work with you, I think. That's awesome. Money and knowledge. Cool. That totally makes sense to me. Oh, yeah. Did you get that APK I sent with you with transfer? Gotta go, but I'd love to get your feedback. See you later. I'm going to try to look at that right now. I'll let you know when I get it running. Thank you so much, Dev for sending me that. And thank you so much for your questions and feedback in here. I'll definitely see you later, Dev Logos. Let's just play this real fast first. So I click slow fade. Dev says, no problem. Always there to disturb. I love it. Love the disruptions. Love having all you guys in this chat. Love being able to learn from all of you and have these awesome discussions. So yeah, the Android emulator is a little laggy right now. I'm still working on getting it better. I was trying to do it before the stream, but it didn't work out. Okay, so it's really slow on my emulator. Here's the first level. Okay, I thought this was the game screen. This makes sense that it's the level screen. Oh, right, this game. I think I've responded to this game on Twitter. I remember this game. Oh, wait, maybe I'm wrong. When you tap a position, they never position 14,000, change at the same time. So you have to like cancel them out, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure you do that by oh man, I'm not able to play like this. Okay, wait. Oh, it's one of these games. I love these kinds of games. Okay, now I understand. This is awesome. I love these games. Like, I've never played a full game of this, but I love these kinds of puzzles. Seems very slow. Yeah, it says emulator. That's why I try to play iOS games mostly right now. I'm still working on getting an Android device, streaming, or working on getting more memory for this emulator. I'm definitely working on it. Good feedback. Mattman says, see you on... Dev says, Mattman, see you on Smite soon, I hope. No problem, was there disturbed? Dev of course. Okay, now that I know how to play the game, I'm pretty excited. I thought it was a different game for a second. Let's play one more level because it is a little slow on my emulator, but I'm digging the gameplay a lot. Oh, it's warm in here. Mattman says, all publishers mostly only care about iOS, by the way. If you're serious about making games, you have to be on iOS. That's where the money is. Totally makes sense. I remember in the industry, we were really focused on iOS as well because, yeah, those are the people that have more money. iOS devices are more expensive. They're more popular in richer countries. So for that reason, these are the kinds of people that spend more money on games. I'm guessing that's why publishers care about iOS so much. What if the position is at the edge of the board? Okay, I see. Sweet. Oh yeah, I am a Logos Brick Negator God. Boom! I used to play these Nancy Drew games when I was a kid, and so I'm really good at these like kinds of puzzles. I know that sounds silly, but skip. Okay, I want to play one more time. This is a blue level. There are also static positions that never change their status. Okay. Interesting. I like that, like, in puzzle games, I think it's really, rapid experimentation is important. So, most games like Braid, A Monster's Expedition, they all have some kind of undo feature. And I love that just inherent in the gameplay there's an undo feature, because wherever you click, you just have to click again to reverse. So I'm a really big fan of that. I think that really could feed into the learning and the experimentation, followed by epiphany. I think that's a really great gameplay system. And their ad views are worth more. Okay, that makes sense, Mattman. So I can't click there either. So it's okay, I'm guessing, if I leave the blue pieces. I can see these puzzles getting really difficult. I'm a huge fan of this. Okay. Log in. So actually, publish for iOS is more expensive. Interesting. Publishing for iOS is also more expensive. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe that makes sense given the more money you can make. I'm not sure. For my feedback about this game, I love this gameplay system. This is a great mobile puzzle gameplay system. Mama says, yeah, it's more expensive to do and harder. Interesting. Tipasoft says, yearly fee, you need a Mac. Makes sense, makes sense. Isn't it like $100, I think, for the annual fee? Okay, these are your other games, I'm guessing. Yeah, so, oops. Let me go back. So I love this gameplay system. Who was it that recommended it? Yeah, so this is Tipasoft's game. I absolutely love the gameplay system of Logos Brick Negator. This is an awesome mobile puzzle game experience. I use GameMaker, so basically the code would be ready. Interesting. I'm giving it 5 stars. But one thing that because I always try to get feedback for all these kinds of games. Thanks for that. No prob. But thanks for making such an awesome gameplay system. I'm excited to play this more, honestly. I could be really addicted to this kind of game, like legit. Batman says we moved from GameMaker to Unity and never looked back. If I were to give any feedback whatsoever on this, my only thing is I would love to see more in terms of long-term value for the game. So it's one thing to make, if you have, there's like the way I make games, I see it in 2 halves. One is make an awesome mobile gameplay system, and you nailed that. You made an amazing one, and I'm excited to see the future elements that you're adding. I know, because it looks like you're adding more elements as you go along. That's amazing. And then the second half is, so first half is gameplay, fun gameplay, moment to moment. Second half is long-term value. Players need to be able to see something in the game that tells them, oh, I should invest in this game. For example, match 3s. There's a million match 3s. They all play basically the same. So they're not playing for the gameplay of match 3s. What they're looking for is long-term value, something that incentivizes their investment in the game, that says, oh, this is worth it to invest in this game. And I think you're starting to do that with the progression of levels. I think that's amazing. I'm wondering if there's like other ways you can elevate the kind of investment in the player, to elevate the rewards potentially. I'm not exactly sure how you do that, to give more of a sense of progress. I think you're already doing a good job, but I just feel like maybe there's more to imagine that you could do. I'm not really sure what that is, you know. Some games, they kind of try to do that with like some kind of competitive thing or clans. I don't think that stuff totally works for your game, but like, I don't know. I could see this working somehow. But yeah, I really love that game. I want to think more about that game. I think that has like huge potential, actually. Like, I haven't played a mobile game like that. I think that's really awesome. I might make a video. I might review this game in a YouTube video too at some point. I'm working on a collection, a video about mobile puzzle games. If you don't follow me on YouTube, I post videos under Emoji Popcast about the mobile games we play on the stream and stuff. They're more like tight videos though, obviously. They're not highlights, they're legit videos, kind of. Thank you so much for sharing that game though. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, let's keep going. There's a small story behind the other level, but maybe it is not enough. The other level. What do you mean the other level? Let's see if we can get to level 5, because I want to get to the red. So one thing I really like in terms of long-term value is like the level by level progression. That's a great start. I love that the different colors obviously denote different new elements, so that's something that tells me, oh, I want to keep going to get the new elements. I think that's really smart as well. Okay, so there's an end state. You can use this booster for an end state. Is this what I'm looking? Is this what I'm trying to create? Again, I love the ability to quickly undo. I love that. On top, you should swipe. I'm guessing that was before I entered the level. I saw that before. These levels are like a tutorial. Okay, I see. Interesting. Let me finish this one. Okay, interesting. I like that now you're trying to, like, at first I thought it was confusing because I was trying to cancel out stuff, and now it's about recreating it, a certain puzzle, but I actually like that. I could see that adding a lot of different kind of challenges, so I think that makes sense. That's interesting. Yes, I'm going to go back to the main menu. I thought those were other games. What the... There's a small story behind the other level. I am confused. This is interesting. The Holy Grail. So there's like a narrative for the game. That's interesting. I feel like people who play these kinds of games aren't looking for a narrative, but I think it's nice to have. I think maybe some players would be into that. Maybe it does increase investment a little bit. There's a lot of text here. I love this gameplay system. I could literally keep playing this forever, honestly. Interesting. So 2 different games in one, or just 2 themes? That's a good question, Matt, man. I get brain boost pills. Okay, so there's some collectibles you're collecting. That makes sense for long-term value too, I think. I'm not exactly sure what they do yet. 2 different themes and plan some more. This is interesting. Did you launch with just one with these 2? So I'm guessing this one's coming soon. Okay. That's interesting. So me personally, obviously you're the expert on this game, not me, you know, so this is just my first impression, and 3rd one was planned but no request for that. So like, when I was on the tutorial kind of theme. Oops. And so I saw the tapping thing at the top. And I thought these were just like advertisements for other games. I didn't realize there were like side maps or anything. To me, like, I like from the psychology of mobile game dev, like of mobile game design, like I feel like it's more based on like long-term investment. Like I want a gameplay system that like keeps giving me progress, that I feel like I can keep climbing up and unlocking new things, and or climbing leaderboards or something like that. And to me it feels like now you're splitting up your progression into different paths, and to me I feel like that's a little less incentivizing. Like I'm getting invested in this one and now I can switch to this other one to restart kind of. Okay, makes sense, but it's not obvious. It is not obvious, yeah, about the menu thing. Makes sense because like the aesthetic here is telling me, oh, this is a fun mobile puzzle game, and then I saw this guy holding a sword and I was like, oh, that must be an advertisement, so I didn't bother to look at that. There's one high scoreboard, points are added together. Cool, makes sense. I have to log in for the high scores. Like for me, I'd rather see this one mode just keep going up, you know, like keep adding new elements, keep making puzzles harder, stuff like that. To me, I want that long chain of progress to kind of fill the idle moments of my life that constantly gives me the feeling of progress that I can turn to. Mammon says, feels like it should be an exciting unlock rather than players being there for the players to start from the start. I think that's another great approach. If like you had to go through all the tutorial levels and then at the end it's like you unlocked this crazy new thing, so players get invested in the beginning and then they're like, whoa, this is like totally different now. Maybe that's a great solution for making it feel more valuable to the players that they've unlocked something. And then also you don't have to worry about the tutorialization of it at the beginning because it's just something that's in the natural progression of the game. I think this is a really interesting game to analyze. Like, this is really interesting. Like, I think you have a really unique approach. I think you have an amazing gameplay system. Let me play this red one. I want to see what the red means. To me, that implies like challenge or speed or something. Now you know the basics, so put them into action. So it makes sense that you have kind of like a tutorial. I'm learning a lot about the mechanics of the game, so just by playing, I'm like seriously in love so much with this gameplay system. So smart. Like, I'm learning like, oh, if there's like an empty box, you want to like fill in the gaps below it, and then you can clear them below, you know? Like, I feel like I'm learning a lot about the game just by playing it. Level to level, I'm feeling I'm always learning something new. This is a great puzzle game. Oof, getting a little stuck. Okay, what's the target? Okay, so I'm trying to get this as the target. Another thing is like it's kind of confusing, but it makes sense that you have a specific target. I'm used to like trying to clear everything. To me, that makes sense as an objective, but it does make sense that you have this cool objective with trying to end it be a certain way. Further levels were planned as in-app purchase option. Okay, that's an interesting approach to monetization. I could see players spending money on like boosters and stuff to help them out, but I'm guessing that's what your brain pills are, maybe. I'm guessing this is a thing that helps you out eventually. Levels equals themes, gotcha. Yeah, to me, like I think like the Candy Crush progression kind of structure mentality is the best for these kinds of games because players are looking for this huge thing with long-term value that they can ride on, you know, and that's why I think they like this endless kind of thing of progress. Unfortunately, but no player, unfortunately, something was wrong for sure. Cool. Okay, yeah, and that's the reason why I'm just kind of giving up my kind of random feedback to see what you think of this, kind of like. So yeah, I'm guessing a lot of players didn't see the other modes. I'm curious if your analytics, if you have analytics, if they told you that. But I really feel like the progression can be tightened. Like, imagine like after you beat the first 15 worlds, maybe it shifts into the second world and it's the sword one. Like, that could be, I think that's what Madman's suggestion kind of was. Like, I think that could be like a better way to go about it maybe, and it'd be easy for you to do too, to make that fix and see if that changes how your game performs at all, you know, because instead of just unlocking from the start, you just unlock it once you get through the 15 levels. Okay, some long-term goal or main meaning is missing. Yeah, exactly. And that's my feedback for almost every mobile game that I play on here. It's always great gameplay system, dig more into the long-term value. That's the challenge, you know. That's what everyone's trying to figure out. That's the biggest mystery to me. That's the thing that I get excited and I'm always thinking about, like new ways to create meaning, value, progression. And you have done that in some interesting ways. So I think you just need to like maybe tweak it a bit, like kind of following the advice of Mattman. And I think you know your gameplay system the best. Obviously, you know your game the best. And so you're going to be the one to be able to come up with the perfect kind of solution to all this, you know, not us. Like, these are just outsider opinions, outsider feedback. But I think you're going to come up with I'm so impressed by what you've made so far. I think you're going to come up with something incredible for how to, like you're saying, like some main goal or meaning, and making that really obvious to players that there's this like value that they can keep climbing up, you know? But yeah. I freaking love the gameplay. This one's tricky. I thought I was getting closer. My attempt at 2D self-published game. Let's check it out. Yeah, so I love this game. I wanna include it in a video in the future. That's cool. The game lost me money, says Batman. Let's try it out. So let's learn from Mattman's mistakes. So it's called Color Glide. I'm gonna play it on my iPhone. Color Glide. IDK works on iPhone X. I do not have an iPhone X. I have an old iPhone, so I'm able to play these older games. Only one way to find out. Okay, so Mattman says they lost money. This was a few years ago. They got 1 rating, at least on their latest version. I knew it would be a success from the moment I downloaded the game. Okay, let's open it. Logos have less than $1 ad income. Cool, gotcha. Yeah, right now on Emoji Pop, it's not on the app stores yet, it's only on web, but I made my first cent in ad revenue, so I'm right there with you, Tivisoft. Mattman PS2 says this is made in Game Maker. Good to know. Allow anonymous collection of in-game data. No. Sorry, Mattman, not gonna happen. Let's play. I like the animation there. Slide the color blocks into the correct colored holes. Okay, so you swipe in one of the 4 directions in order to slide the blocks around to make them go in the right places. Mattman says, I think I paid a composer for music and sound effects, so that's minus money. Next level. I gotta make it on the front. Let's keep this open. Okay, so this one I just have to slide down, or slide up, I mean. 1 glide, correct. Next level. So that level, I think that was, I think it's important. Every level should teach you something new. I think that what that level was teaching me was that there's more than one way to swipe, you know. I swiped to the right the first time, swiped down the next time or whatever. And now this is about me going all 4 directions. I like that there's different paths, so it's kind of interesting, the strategy. So far, I think the level design's really good. Next level. Pay attention to par. Beating par gives you bigger rewards. Gotcha. So now there's 2, and it's not as easy. Makes sense, so I feel like I'm going to keep learning new stuff. Wow, I can see these levels getting pretty hard and interesting. I kind of dig it. And so once you get it in the box, it disappears, so that makes it easier. Spent a lot of time making it, says Mattman, laughy face. 14 glides. Gotcha. Another thing I'm always questioning in games like this and in Logos is what approach for progression is better. Is it level by level, which is the most used, or is it like Disney's Emoji Blitz, where you're playing like this constant thing? Maybe it evolves over the time, maybe it stays the same. I think those are two different progressions that we should always consider for these puzzle games. Matman 2, I also gave it a try. It's Tipasoft. Nice. So I see the solution there. Next level. Okay, so this one looks more challenging. I dig it. I can see how to win it. I'm going to try to lose one on purpose to see what the flow is for that. To me, I dig this game, Matman. I'm kind of digging it. Like, I dig it like I did Doug Logos. To me, I like the Logos gameplay because that's something I'm kind of familiar with, but I could see this one becoming just as interesting. Let's slide down. Boom. Okay, so at this point I'm getting pretty familiar with the gameplay, so I want to be able to make mistakes. It feels like normally the walls are set up to make sure I don't really have a chance of making mistakes, which is fine for the beginning. Obviously, you want to have players have a positive experience at the beginning, so they don't feel discouraged later on. But I'm really looking forward to like the challenging stuff. Try smashing blocks together to make a new color. Whoa. Oh, I should. Let me restart. Loading ad. So to restart, you have to watch an ad. That's smart. Error loading. Could not load ad. Interesting. I dug it too, says Matt Man, crying face. So I saw that I could have made a better move there. Yeah, I love this gameplay system. This is good. Next level. Okay, more color combining. Oh, I see. So I probably could have done that better. So that was good. That's the first time I saw that the block can hit the square mid shot in order to make it. I thought it had to land there. So that's interesting. Do ads even work? No, it was going to play an ad and then it said ad failed. Tipasoft says, I think it was a lot of work too. Yeah, it looks like it. Next level. Okay. So this one, I saw a little challenge there. I saw I could have made a mistake there. That's cool. I'm curious how many levels there are in this game. Next level. This looks tricky. Try taking care of the green first. Okay, so I have a red and a blue. It's suggesting I take care of the green first. So it's gonna give me like a hint there. So like it's kind of telling me like if there's a bunch of boxes, like they're gonna get in the way of each other. You gotta get rid of one first, and then it's gonna be easier. Not fixing that. Enjoy the free ad experience. LOL. Nice. I will. Okay, so this little block here makes it good. Oops, it combined. Okay, that taught me something really awesome. So I'm gonna watch an ad and it's gonna fail. Okay, rewind. So I like that I failed here. Like the failure, where you place the first failure for different kinds of players, I think is important. Like failing here made me think, okay, like now I see the challenge. I need to figure this out. That gets me more hooked. So I need to make sure that these bricks don't collide. So I could have done it better, but I did it still. I like that. Xandra, how's it going? How's it going, Xandra? We're kind of talking about puzzle game progression. We're playing some of these games that people have made. Feel free to suggest your own if you've made one. Yeah, making puzzles is hard, says Xandra. Madman says, I want to make another puzzle game sometime. They're fun, but I hate spending time making levels. I think we tried doing a daily level for this game, LOL. Wow, that's intense for this kind of game. Like, I'm making a bubble shooter, and I can crank out levels in that game since the possibilities are endless, but this is a more like logic, optimal solution kind of puzzle, so I can see that being really difficult to make daily levels. That's insane. Alexandra says, yeah, making puzzles is hard. Totally agree. I love making puzzles. I'm a puzzle game designer, I think, at heart. Whenever I play a puzzle game like this one too, or Logos especially, I'm like, I wish I had the level editor and I could just make levels, because that's, to me, that's my gaming experience. I love designing kind of puzzles and games. Alexandra said, only puzzle game I've done is a Game Jam game that was kind of like a small puzzle platformer level. Interesting. Puzzle platformers, those are pretty interesting. Yeah, I make, let me just pop up Emoji Pop real fast. So now I'm addicted to Logos and whatever this game is called, low-key. Wow. So it gets challenging, and I feel negative when I make a mistake. I'm like, oh, like I messed up a glide, it's gonna cost me, So this is my game Emoji Pop that's up, and it's a puzzle game where you shoot colored emojis, and there's obstacles that you can interact with to clear emojis and stuff like that. And every world there's a new emoji obstacle that behaves differently, expands the game space, and it has its own level creator, because as I said, I'm obsessed with designing levels and puzzles in mobile games. So using the emojis you've unlocked, that looks pretty cool, says Zandra. Thank you so much. Using the emojis you've unlocked, you can design your own level. And the coolest thing is you can save it, and if you're logged in, you can share it. The game gives you a link, and I could share that link with you. You'd open the link, and then you can play my level. So you're allowed to make levels in the game, share it on social media, and then everyone in the world can play your level. So that's kind of where I'm going with that game. Madman PS2 says, yeah, the level select on Color Glide shows if you got gold, silver, bronze. Okay, so that'd be good for replaying. I was always obsessed with having all levels gold. Yeah, I know, and you're catering to certain kind of players when you do that. That totally makes sense. I like that when you combine colors, they change to different color, because to me, that creates a lot of challenge that I've seen. I've already made a mistake of combining colors, so I really like that mechanic. So that one level I played kind of taught me, don't try to do everything at once, because that's what the beginning levels are. Usually combine, you do multiple goals at once. It's telling you, focus on one color first, then get the others. Sometimes that's what you have to do. I like that. And I'm going to finish with the exact number of glides I need. No text on it. Is your login button Emoji Pop broken there? Yes, oh, you know what? I think I accidentally just made it so that the red button shows there no matter what, because I'm logged in right now, so that red button shouldn't show up at all. So it looks like I implemented that button wrong, so good call out on that, Matt, man. I'm going to fix that today. So really, the button shouldn't be there. That's the problem. But yeah, as I said, I made this awful level. Watch this. Copy. I pasted it in the Twitch chat, and you could highlight that whole link and put it in your web browser, and you could play my awful level. Actually, yeah. So it's pretty bad. What is happening? Oh yeah, this is a different level I made. Okay. I was like, what are these knives falling down the screen for? Is this a bug? But this is another bad level I played. Madman says, confirmed it worked. Okay, good to know. Sometimes I like to make sure that the features are working like I think they are. I am on the level. I wish I had sent you a better level. I'm just going to share the link to this one in case someone wants to play an actual level. Found a bug though. Oh god, what's the bug? That's not good. So yeah, this game is still in development. That's why it's online and on the app stores right now. I'm guessing the bug is maybe you started only with one bubble. That's my prediction as to what the bug is. Maybe the second bubble was a blank. That's just my guess though, because I know that happens sometimes in one color levels. Alexander says, I've been thinking about making my current project open to modding. It is quite easy to create enemies and scales so players could make custom ones. That sounds like a super exciting idea to me. The kind of games I make, like, as you make games, you discover what your tendencies are, what you're interested in, and it's not always the kind of games you play. To me, whenever I make a game, I end up making a game that's, like you're saying, kind of moddable. That's a creative game where people design their own things in it. And I'd really be down for, like, a game where it's moddable within the game almost. Like, that sounds really exciting. I might even be able to combine it with Twitch integration, where chat votes on skills and picks from a randomly generated names or whatever, and basically build a boss for the streamer to fight as they're doing their run. That sounds incredible. I also like how you're thinking about integrating Twitch, because I think we need to think more and more about, hey, Sakran, what's up in YouTube? I'll answer your question in a second. I think we need to think more and more about how we work with Twitch, because I think it's Jason Rohrer gave a 2019 GDC talk dispelling the myth of the indie-pocalypse. The idea of the indie-pocalypse is that so many indies are making games now that it's impossible to make a living off of it. What Jason Rohrer argues in his GDC talk in 2019, they argue that instead of just making games as we've always made them, of course that's not going to make you much money maybe. You need to be thinking about the modern landscape, and so you're thinking about Twitch. That's really important. Like we've seen how important games like Twitch is to games like Fall Guys. You know, like if it wasn't for Twitch, maybe Fall Guys wouldn't have blown up the way it did. Like if we think in terms of the modern technological and social media landscape in our games, we can really. Dylan got all these GDC talks in the back of his head. Wish my head was like that. Honestly, that's an awesome compliment, but I really am not that person. You know. I just am obsessed with a few talks. Thank you so much, Xander, for following. That really means a lot. That really helps us out. I'm really excited to keep communicating with you. I'm so excited to see this game and follow your progress. I hope you join our groups and our Discord and everything. Follow us on Twitter so that we can follow your progress and keep giving feedback for each other. But yeah, like this Jason Rohrer talk from 2019, that's just a talk that I've been obsessed with for a long time. I've written articles about it and videos and all this stuff, so like that's the only reason why I'm like so familiar with it. Like I swear I'm not like some kind of game design genius, you know. I hope someday to be, though. There are a lot of really good GT talks, says Xander. I've watched so many. I agree with you. There's some incredible ones. My favorite game dev speaker is Jonathan Blow. When I was first getting interested in game design in high school, I read everywhere. I would read Gamma Sutra every day and read all the blogs. You know, I'd watch videos on YouTube about game design, and I just kept thinking, like, I feel like there's something missing. Like, there's no one critiquing the status quo of game design to me. And Jonathan Blow's GDC talks and talks elsewhere really blew my mind from the 2000s, talking about I don't know, just talking about the game design medium at its core, about the dissonance between storytelling and gameplay in games. I thought that was super interesting talk. Jonathan Blowsden talks about games like Farmville and the free-to-play trend, which I disagree with in some ways, but agree with in other ways. So I don't know. Just speaking of GDC talks, that's kind of my favorite. I love talks that like change the way you think about something. That's my favorite. Whenever I watch a GDC talk that like opens my mind to new possibilities, I like literally spend the whole day like just obsessed over it. So I agree with you. I love GDC talks. I really recommend Jason Rohrer's talk from 2019, though. I think we all need to really think about that talk. Let me open up this bug that Mattman found. So again, this is awesome. Oh my god, what happened? Okay, so this is a bug we're gonna need to fix. I had no idea this was there. After you beat a level, the smiley face is huge. And there's a like button that doesn't do anything. That's a great bug. Thank you so much, Mattman. Never seen an emoji that big before. I have, because of the bugs in the game, but it makes sense that you haven't. It's this giant winking animation that you see the forehead of. That's pretty funny. So that's something we should totally fix this week. Thank you for highlighting that. Yeah, so it's called Color Glide. Let me go back. I wanted to see the level like map. Select level. Okay, so there's 37. Oh my god. Hard. So you can spend money for additional levels? Is that what this is? So these are the easy levels, medium levels. Oh, so they cost these currency. And I have 34, and you can buy currency. I like this progression system, I think. Level packs at bottom, ambitious amount of levels. Yeah, it looks like it. Interesting. And there's a daily level. Could not load daily level. Alright, Mattman, I demand you continue making daily levels for this game. Alexander says, Darkest Dungeon is a great example of an RPG with permadeath where the out-of-combat mechanics act like a board game. Interesting. I think you can earn enough without paying. Yeah, so to me this seems like a cool progression system. Again, like maybe like imagine games like Candy Crush. They always have like events and things like that to encourage players to keep playing. Blah blah blah. One thing that this game doesn't have as much is the sense of chance. So the gameplay to me is entirely based on skill, which I think appeals to a certain niche kind of mobile puzzle gamer. But to become this like casual hit, I think the gameplay system needs to be somewhat based in chance to create this replayability. And I could see this kind of game turning off casual gamers who don't feel confident in their abilities to solve these kinds of puzzles and stuff. So I think like that's my only feedback about the progression system and gameplay in general, is that like I could see this. To me, I love this game, but Natman says you're right. Game failed for a reason. LOL, I want to recreate in 3D sometime. That could be cool. One thing I was thinking of is like, is there a way to make it so it's a continuous level almost? Like, before we do that, I want to see. You missed the context for the message. Gotcha. One sec. Oh yeah. One thing, same thing at my assistant tip of soft. Okay, good to know that on multiple devices that the big emoji is coming. One thing I've been getting into lately is watching videos about board game design, because I realized that roguelites with permanent progression end up being a lot like board games. Interesting. Darkest Dungeon is a great game. Is a great example of a game RPG with permadeath, where the out of combat mechanics act like a board game. Interesting. I'm really interested by this idea of like being inspired by board game design and integrating it into digital game design. That to me is a really interesting space. I love like being inspired by other spaces, like whether it's being inspired by console games to make mobile games, or board games to make games, or some other art form, being inspired by that to make games. To me, that stuff is super interesting. That's like my jam, kind of. My combat system is also heavily influenced by card game design like Magic. Cool, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense that there's common ground between these different forms. I want to look at that Darkest Dungeon game. Mattman says, thinking of board games is a huge inspiration for my game ideas and old arcade. That's interesting. Yeah, me personally, I don't take much experience. I don't take much inspiration from board games, although probably I should, by considering by your guys' perspectives. Yeah, to me, I'm more inspired by arcade games, because I'm focused on casual mobile games that are usually kind of really digital focused, and I'm inspired by arcade games. Like, I look back to the past and find gameplay systems that don't really exist anymore, and figure out how I can translate them into a mobile experience, kind of. I accept Darkest Dungeon. Oh, it's on iOS too. But yeah, there's one more thing I want to talk about regarding the color switch, the color glide. I searched for it, but maybe my phone can't handle it because it's not showing up on my app store. Something for like a video. I thought we were swiping on Tinder today. That's what I signed up for. We should do a special stream. Once I get 100 Twitch followers, we will do a Tinder stream where we turn Tinder into a game, where we play our character, and we're gonna stream us playing a character on Tinder or something like that. So share the stream and get us to 100 followers, and I will Tinder publicly if that is of interest to anybody besides Mattman and I. I love the aesthetic of it. So it's like roguelike turn-based RPG with, and I think you said it has permadeath. That is interesting. I could see the board games. That totally makes sense for board games and the cross between that. Tibisoft is not following. Tibisoft agrees. We want a Tinder stream. We are one follower closer to Tinder stream, or whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much, Tibisoft, for following. That really means a lot. But yeah, like that totally makes sense. Board games, permadeath. Like board games inherently have permadeath, you know, and so it totally makes sense that it totally lends itself to the design of roguelike turn-based RPG games like this. And you probably know a lot more. I don't know. I'm not that literate in board games or roguelike turn-based RPGs, but I think this is super interesting. Game looks fun, says Matt. Man, you made this. I don't think they made this. This is like who made this? I forget who made this. Red Hook Studios. They're like a pretty big studio, I'm pretty sure. There's a town that sort of expands and gains new options and stuff in stores as you progress through the dungeons. Interesting. I like that as a progression system. That's smart. Does the do the upgrades continue to progress even after you die, or does the game reset? Is what something I'd be curious about. I think it would make sense if they keep continuing to make it easier for you. So even if you die and lose stuff, like you still have like your village growth or something. This is interesting. So I see the town mechanics here. Each character has an individual life. Interesting. Oh, okay, I see. So it depends on what characters die. This is awesome. Yeah, this is like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing, right? Like, I mean, as you guys probably know from that statement, I don't know very much about RPGs or board games really, but this is interesting. Sukran, escape, sorry, panic room. Hello, please, hello. Sorry, Sukran, I keep burying your chat with the window. You might survive, but lose 3 characters along the way. Interesting, I dig it. We should like play this on a stream sometime. This is cool. It's got a stress mechanic and deathblow mechanic, where heroes will gain traits and stuff when they leave the dungeon, and if their stress gets maxed. So I like that because to me that makes it like a really replayable experience. Like I wanna play and like there's that game like Don't Starve. Like to me, like it's really replayable because different things happen each time. You know, like. There's a lot of chanciness, like different things happen and you go through different experiences, and it sounds, by Exandra's description, it sounds like this is the same thing where obviously it's a very different game, but like that same quality of like keep replaying and different things happen. I love that kind of experience. Batman says love Don't Starve. Me too. I love that game. That game is awesome. I haven't even played it that much, but I played it the first time and I was like, wow, this is an incredible game. Like I dig that kind of gameplay. Darkest Dungeon is very much a hardcore dice rolling game. You are at the whims of fate and have to make the best of what you were given. That's really interesting. To me, that also doubles down on the replayability. That is really cool. That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this game with me. I want to try it sometime. Like maybe give you my thoughts on it. Kind of make a video about it or something. They can sometimes take a few hits in a row on death's door. Yeah. So the dice mechanic, that makes it so replayable. The chanciness, that's cool. Like that you're kind of at the whim of chance and you're trying to make the best of what you have, it sounds like. That's cool. That was awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I'll leave it open for now. So one thing I was thinking about with this kind of puzzle game we're talking about, puzzle game progression, like I mentioned, like, oh, probably not based enough in chance to appeal to the casual gamer, like Candy Crush, like someone who's played games not at all can play thousands of levels of that because it's balancing chance and skill in such a way to appeal to that kind of player. Let me open up my iPhone. Hold on, I gotta reconnect first. Yeah, thanks again to everyone who's watching. Thank you, Sukran, on YouTube. Sorry, I'm not really looking at your game suggestions right now because I wanted to kind of play the games that these developers have made. I should check out Panic Room. Sounds scary. I don't want to play scary games, Sukran. What are you trying to do to me? So like there's games like I don't know if you guys have played Disney Emoji Blitz, but given I used to work at it's pretty funny actually. So I used to work at Jam City, and I used to be obsessed with Disney Emoji Blitz. I loved the design of it. Obviously, like, it's not my kind of game, but like, I thought it was designed really smart, and I thought we could learn a lot from its design. And then, like, literally a couple weeks after, and I would go around telling everyone, like, we need to look at this game's design and progression system for casual gamers. Like, I think they do an interesting thing that we don't quite understand yet, and I think we could tap into. I left, and a couple weeks later, they bought Disney's Emoji Blitz, and now it's a Jam City game. And I was like, oh, I was telling everyone how amazing this game was. So, continue. Whatever, download. 380 megabytes, oh my god. So, there's like the level by level approach where keep ramping up the difficulty, adding new elements, and like thousands of levels or how many other levels you have. That's one approach to the mobile puzzle game structure. Buy my games, Jam City, please. Yeah, I know, right? Hopefully they buy my game someday. That'd be awesome. I would love to like build out my game enough in order to sell it, and then like make my own games with some resources. Maybe I can put in a good word for Hexstars for you, Matt, man. But yeah, they're very focused on the casual, IP-focused mobile puzzle games, especially now, for casual players. But yeah, so level by level is one way. Another way is have a consistent experience that goes and evolves on with the player without changing the level each time. Hexstars is committed to a different company. Oh, yeah, figured. Makes sense. You've been logged out. I don't care. Collect. I got second place on this week's leaderboard, even though I haven't played this game since 2018. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's play. So there's certain boosts, certain tasks you're trying to achieve, blah, blah, blah. But basically, let me show you the gameplay. It is a match 3 game, where it's like Candy Crush, where you slide in order to make matches, and there's power-ups as well. And so you're literally just making matches. It's this grid. You play for 60 seconds. This is Disney Emoji Blitz. That experience of not changing the level but growing out the player sounds a lot like the experience of running endgame maps in Path of Exile. Path of Exile. I'm not sure about that game. But yeah, like, this is another kind of thing to consider. Like, before my bubble shooter, I was working on a match 3 that instead of changing level to level, it was a consistent experience that evolved, like I was saying. And I think that's an interesting approach that works with certain gameplay systems that we don't really consider when we design these puzzle games. Yeah, and I'll look into that in a sec. Where is the game? Yeah. Okay, so I played the level. There's missions I'm trying to solve. So there's like, I don't know, 16 items I'm trying to collect. So by playing the game, if you do really well, items drop, and you can like match the items, and then you unlock currency. And the focus of the value, let me show you in a sec. The value comes not from going level to level. Yeah. I'm not enjoying it. No, I won't tell you how to make it better. So the value comes from, you can use your currency. If you do really well and you complete tasks and stuff like that, you get currency, which you can use to buy new emojis. And these emojis are extra valuable to casual gamers because they're all Disney themed, obviously. So that's really unique to that kind of game. And you can get legendary ones, and you want to get these emojis because the different emojis have different abilities, and the different emojis also, like, there's certain tasks. Let me open this up. So like, there's sometimes certain missions that say you need to use the Donald Duck mission. So if you keep getting new emojis and stuff like that, then you can keep accomplishing more of these tasks at the same time. And so like, basically get new emojis, new power-ups, makes it easier to get more currency, etc. So It's a consistent experience. So I could see like this Color Glide game. I could see something like this. Obviously, this is a more focused puzzle game, but it could be done differently. Like, let me think for a second. Like, maybe imagine a square, and you're given a couple colored blocks, like this game, and you're trying to get them in their boxes. And then maybe once you get one in a box, maybe the level evolves. Maybe a new block comes up, or new walls come up, and so it evolves, and it's just like a continuous level, basically, or something like that. Like, maybe that's not good for this game, but I'm just saying, like, there's more progression systems to imagine that could make it more chancy, that could appeal more to casual gamers, So I'm just saying, like, there's different progression systems, and we shouldn't just adopt the level by level approach inherently. Or we could try it first, but if it doesn't work, I think there's many ways to design the progression of every mobile puzzle game. We just need to, like, imagine all of the different ones. So same thing with my bubble shooter Emoji Pop. It's common to go level by level by level by level, and I threw that out the door because I saw that was breaking the game design of bubble shooters. So instead now, you're in this continuous level and you never get stuck. And there's many levels within the levels. So this has never been tried before, and I think I designed it in order to solve the problem that I was noticing. So long way of saying Color Glide from 2016. Yeah, totally makes sense. A few years old. So that's just my way of saying, like, we need to imagine more unique progression systems for our games, and I think that there's a lot of possibility space in that. Not just in making the same kind of gameplay systems. The real potential is in the progression and the long-term value. Like, to me, that's where the possibilities of mobile game design really are. Alexandra says that experience of not changing the level of growing sounds a lot like experience of running endgame maps in Path of Exile. It's a totally different game, but the core loop there, running the same map over and over to get currency to optimize your character and fund other things you do. That sounds like a great feature for the end game content, and I could see a similar approach being made in puzzle games. While you're waiting for content, there's like the endless level at the end. That's actually something I'm working on in my bubble shooter. I have like a generation system that generates levels on the fly, and you just keep playing them, and you're competing with other players in order to get an advantage for when the new worlds are available. Just watching a video of Poe wouldn't really say much about how the game works. Okay. It's one of those games where you need to read 20 encyclopedias of stuff on the wiki to figure out how much damage you do. Interesting. Yeah, I feel a lot of people do not explore progression options very much at all. I totally agree with you. Even look at these corporate developers like Jam City, King, Zynga. Whenever they make a mobile puzzle game, they take the exact same gameplay, and then they copy the same structure and progression system from Candy Crush in 2011. They don't consider that every gameplay system is different. So just because they're a puzzle game doesn't mean that the saga map approach is perfect for all of them, And so we as indies maybe suffer from this a bit, but the corporate developers suffer from it just as much. So I think that indies can get an edge on the corporate devs and make unique game experiences by experimenting with the meta of these games, by experimenting with the progression. And not when I say experiment, I don't mean just try random stuff. I mean think through the gameplay of the game, maybe an existing game, and see how you can make it better by changing the progression system. So in the bubble shooters, I was like, okay, match 3 doesn't make sense. They balance chance. Their games are so much based in chance that the level to level thing makes sense because players feel confident they can just keep replaying and eventually they'll win because the game is so chance based. It's basically a slot machine almost. But in games like bubble shooters or games like Color Glide, which was made a few years ago, they're not much based in chance. So casual gamers playing the game, they'll get to a point where they get stuck and they feel like, oh, I can't win because they know it's so based in skill. And although bubble shooters are based in chance to a degree, to players' perception, they're totally based in skill. They feel like they're shooting and making matches and solving a puzzle. To them, it's totally based in skill. Even though most of the games on the App Store that are bubble shooters, they're actually very much based in chance. But the players perceive them based in skill, and therefore the level-to-level approach doesn't work, because once a casual gamer gets stuck, they feel like they can't play very many times. That's why Candy Crush players are willing to play for weeks and weeks, the same level without any new content. That's not a fun gameplay experience, but they like the progression. It works for the chanciness of it. Bubble shooters, if you play a level a few times, and you're a new gamer, you're probably going to quit already. So that's not good for monetization. That's not good for retention. It makes the beginning of these games super easy because we can't scare away players. So the first hundreds of levels are like very basic, and that means veteran bubble shooter players, when they play the beginning of a new puzzle game of a new bubble shooter, they say, oh, like, this is going to be boring for the first 100 levels. This game isn't obviously for me. So that's why in the very first 5 minutes of the game, I have these insane mechanics that players are exposed to, and I can do that because I'm using a different progression system that doesn't punish people. So yeah, like Alexandra says, yeah, I feel like a lot of people do not explore progression options very much. So we need to explore them within the logic of our unique gameplay systems. Every unique gameplay system has its own possibility space for the progression and for the meta systems, and I think we need to be exploring more what those systems are for each gameplay genre, and exploring new gameplay systems that have even better potential progression and meta systems. So yeah, that feels like a little bit like a rant at this point, but I think that puts a bow on this discussion of puzzle game progression. Let me know if anyone else has any opinions on any of this. So this was we've been literally going off on a tangent for like an hour, coming from the last game I looked at was this horror game on Facebook. But yeah, I really love these mobile puzzle games. Thank you so much for sharing those, Mattman, and the person who suggested Logos. That was really cool. Thank you so much, Alexandra, for following and for participating in this chat. It sounds like you have a really cool perspective and diverse perspective of game design that you compiled together, so it's really awesome to have you in this community. Mattman says, I want to make a horror hyper-casual game. That would be a fun challenge. Yeah, make like a Candy Crush, make a match 3 horror game. Can someone do that? Like, maybe you're playing the game and then like randomly like something scary happens or something. That's my on the spot idea, I guess. Horror hyper casual. You could do some kind of like hyper casual game where there's multiple people playing, and like maybe you can scare other people or something if you get a power up or something. I don't know. Would get sued because jump scare causes you to drop your phone. Have people actually gotten sued because of scary mobile games? I could see that being attempted, actually. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a good conversation. It is 11:22 Pacific Standard Time, so I think I'm gonna keep looking at our community posts for a little longer, maybe an hour more, half an hour more. I'm gonna get lunch and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna work in the afternoon on Emoji Pop. If you're interested in that, we do game dev in the afternoon. And so I've heard from people in the chat that like they like to do game dev stuff while I'm doing game dev stuff, and so we kind of like help each other out when we can. You know, maybe someone says, "Oh, look at this thing I just made. What do you think about this?" Or maybe I do the same thing, like, "Oh, what do you think about this bug?" Or what should I be working on in my game right now? So feel free to join us in the afternoons. So someone said 10 minutes to make a game. Kind of want to watch this and see. And we talked about this stuff before. Cool. So I want to watch this person's video. We won't watch the whole thing. I just want to check it out for a minute. Okay, I thought there was going to be audio, but I don't think there is. Okay, let's just see what this person made in 10 minutes. Let's see. So you're trying to collect the asterisk things, or maybe not? Let's see the final product. It's cool that they can... I think that's a cool test. Like, can you make a quick game in 10 minutes using the engine and your tool set? I think that's an interesting challenge. So you're trying to avoid the asterisks. That's unique. Interesting input system. Whenever someone shares a YouTube video, I try to subscribe so I can follow their newer posts. Would have liked some sound and some explanation there, but that's okay. Cool. Alright, let's go to the Discord, because I saw someone posted something interesting there. I forget what it was. Game development. Okay, hey Emoji Popcast, have you tried our game above as well? The Logos puzzle game. Oh yeah, we just played that. It is obviously not successful at all. 50 plus downloads in 3 months means only friends, relatives checked it out. It would be interesting for me and maybe for everyone else to in the future what is not working from your point. So we talked about that at length. I'm glad that they posted that in the chat. So that's cool. It seems like we're caught up on everything. So does anyone want me to play anything or whatever? 'Cause otherwise, maybe I'll just get started with the Emoji Pop dev stuff. Maybe we can fix that bug that you guys noticed with the giant winking emoji. Let me find that. So that happens when you share a level. Debugging is always an experience. That is the truth. So I'm gonna open up the shared level as well. Okay, let's just play it. So these, as I said, because my bubble shooter has a different progression system, Exandra says I'm debugging right now, but I don't even remember what bug I'm trying to fix. So I'm just AFK on the map. That's pretty funny. That happens to me too. Like sometimes I'm trying to fix a bug, but then I'm like, oh, I need to rewrite this thing, and then I have to be like, oh, I have to fix this other thing in order to fix the other thing in order to fix the other thing, and then then I'll spend 5 minutes like, what was I even doing? And then so that is definitely an experience that happens to me sometimes. As I said, Emoji Pop has a totally different progression system that I think fits its specific gameplay. I'm not just copying and pasting like the corporate developers do with their bubble shooters. I'm organically coming up with a new, better approach in my opinion. So, and that allows me to also embrace skill in this game, because if you can't beat a skill-based level, it goes away and players can continue as normal. So it allows me to create obstacles that have never before been featured in other games. So for example, I don't think I've seen this mechanic at all in bubble shooters. These snails, they move side to side each turn. So it creates a really dynamic element in the game where you have to constantly reevaluate your decisions each turn and think ahead. Madman says, I'm not debugging right now. Y'all jealous? I am very jealous. Literally, my life is basically debugging or fixing things that I've already done, you know? Thanks for rubbing it in though, Madman. I'm guessing you're working on something new maybe, or maybe something like that. Or maybe you're doing some other stuff. And so these bows and arrows, if you hit them, they shoot an arrow that clears a bunch of emojis, and they turn each turn. And in the editor, I can either make them like go in a circle, or I can make them go side to side. You can do whatever you want with them. New game, will be out Friday, maybe Saturday. So excited. I'm so excited when y'all come up with new games, especially Mattman and people I'm familiar with that I know make great games. I'm always excited to like evaluate and learn from them, honestly. So I'm so excited to play that. So again, we gotta face these snails. Yellow. Okay, so now we can hit these arrows and they'll hit each other and clear the rows. It's important when we design these levels. When I design levels, I usually try to make clear points where it resets the player's tension. So they're building towards a point, and then once they achieve that, then it kind of resets the tension. Instead of constantly just chipping away at something and feeling like, am I doing something wrong? It's good to give players these big win moments that guide them up the level. So that's like a little just level design tidbit. So we got a lot of snails up here. I've been coding my game, says Exandra, for about a month and a half now. Would love to get my feedback you have if you like to try it sometime. I am down to play it whenever, Exandra. Just let me know how I can play it whenever you want me to play it. I'm down to play it on the stream, but if you want me to play it offline, that's okay too. I like playing these games on streams because then we can all give feedback and stuff. But yeah, let me know whenever you want me to play it. I'm literally down whatever to play these games that y'all make. Yeah, I focus on mobile games, but we obviously can learn a lot about other games as well. It's just on my itch game. Happy to get feedback from anyone. Sweet, let's play it. I love this stuff. Okay, it's a turn-based roguelike RPG that combines CCG-style mana management and spell mechanics with JRPG-style team-based combat. There are currently more than 20 units, 100 skills to use. Oh, so you were mentioning like the ability to like... It's got a bit of a steep learning curve at the start. Gotcha. Looking forward to experimenting with more passive effects and higher complexity skills in the future. Yeah, I like what you were saying about the potentials for like modding and stuff like in the future or whatever. There are 4 bosses implemented at the moment. And the Twitch thing as well. Dude, I'm gonna join this Discord right now. You got a lot of members, nice. That's awesome. Let's see, where was I? I think I closed it. Kill your enemies, abduct corpses, butcher the rest. Download. How to play. Image. Each turn gain 1 crystal. There's no music in the game right now, but some of the skills have sounds in them. Cool. Most of the population is from a Kingdom Hearts mod I made. Cool, cool. That's a smart idea to make a mod like that. Collectible card. What is CGG? Collectible card game. Yeah, I didn't remember when I read CCG. I was like, I know I've heard it before. I forget in the moment what that meant. Each turn, gain 1 crystal for each unit you have. Use them to cast skills. Units sometimes nullify, reflect, or absorb certain types of damage. As happens, attacker loses the crystal. Most units have a weakness. Hitting it lets you use crystals you spent on the skill a second time. Units gain potential each round based on their stats. 1 potential is gained for each stat above 0. Potential determines whether a unit can cast a skill. When a unit dies, it becomes a corpse that can't use skills. Damage taken by corpses is permanent, reducing the unit's max HP. If the protagonist's corpse is destroyed or all allies are corpses, the battle is lost. Interesting. It is not really a card game, but skills are presented as cards. There is no deck or hand, though. You cast them just like skills. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Seems to be complex, says Tibisoft. It does. Okay, let's just try it. One second, I gotta extract this. Yeah, thanks for sharing this though. I love when y'all share your games with me. Select folder, extract. It definitely takes a bit of time to get used to the combat. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm guessing I'm going to be pretty bad at this at the beginning, but I'm excited to like keep playing it and see how it goes. Godot game engine. Okay, 1 second. I need to figure out a way to get it so that you can see, because it displays on my other monitor. 1 sec. Window. Does that worry you? I've been really impressed with Godot so far. Interesting. Does that worry you that you know it's complex and have to warn people of that? That would scare me, but then again, I make super simple games. Alexander says, it will be easier when I have a better in-game tutorial. Makes sense. I added a lot of juice to indicate what is happening when you deal damage. Yeah, it makes sense that you're really worried because there's not a really elaborate tutorial. I could totally see that, and it makes sense that you'd be nervous because it's complex, not like the most fleshed out tutorial. Like, totally makes sense, and we won't judge you too hard on that for sure, because that totally makes sense. Okay, I got it. Let's go. Okay. Okay. So I'm guessing this is like the map. So my guys, these are skills or something. Okay. So there's 2 different skills: wound or gouge or eviscerate. That's 3. And there's these crystals. Bleed an enemy. Take 1 physical damage per stack at the start of the round. Full bleeding units have -1 defense. What is gouge? Deal 5 physical damage to an enemy. Let's take out the weak ones first. So I like the zoom in effect there. I like the damage. Okay. And then there's new ones that come up for bounty hunter. So they all got their own skills. I see. This one has 1 gem. Gouge, first aid, I don't need to do that. Molotov requires these blue things. Your stream is doing some... Whoa, what is happening? That is weird. Your crystals are team wide. Okay, that's what I thought. That makes sense. I definitely thought that. Hitting the green button will start your run. Gotcha. I aim to start with simple things, get more difficult features this Ubisoft. That makes sense. But it makes sense that certain gamers are looking for this kind of experience. Your stream is doing some glitchy math stuff, lol. Yeah, so I guess I'll just have to ignore the white flashing dots. I don't see that on my screen, but I see it on the side. That looks pretty awesome. But okay, we'll have to deal with that, I guess. So I'm just gonna wound again. Let's go for the same one. And so I think they deflected it or something. So this gem is flashing. Oh, so I'm back to the protagonist. Let me gouge the left one. And I can't do anything with the bounty hunters, so I'll pass. Emulate, so they're doing damage to me now. And feel free to give any context in the chat, Exandra. So they're taking their turns doing damage to me. There are no chance-based effects. Interesting, that's cool. They didn't deflect. You used a skill that only inflicted. Okay, I was wondering if I used the wound one. Wound. I meant to use gouge, but I think I used wound. That makes sense. Okay, keep using gouge. I'm gonna destroy magma leaper. Okay, so now there's some more options. So they have more gems now, I guess. I'm curious how that happened. So there's a Molotov. Deal 7 fire damage to an enemy, and I know they all have their own like skills. This has a fire, so I'm wondering if that makes them susceptible to the fire damage, or maybe that's not a fire. Oh, that's the bleed thing. Okay, I see. That's the bleed thing. It's on their picture. They have more potential. Okay, I see. I can't do anything anymore. Glimpse of red, 25 damage. Deal 3 lightning strikes. Okay, I'm just gonna destroy this magma. I'm kind of low on health. Screw it. I'm gonna deal lightning damage to magma and put them out of business. So now they're on the purple health. So I thought that once I got them to 0, they would die, but do they have 2 like health bars in a way? Eviscerate. Deal 15 damage to an enemy. Let's keep going for the magma. I wanted to do first aid, but I can't. Vigor, so they're invigorating. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Okay. Eviscerate, let's put magma out of business, so now they're gone. It's a corpse. Okay, so once they're a corpse, they can... do they still do stuff then? That's interesting. Pass. Vigor. The center one keeps vigor, using vigor. Interesting. Okay, my guys are really low. Eviscerate. Let's go for dynamo. Alexander says, but you need a corpse if you want to use revival skills. Okay, I see. Take lots of notes, Alexandra. So valuable to have. First time user play in front of you. And there are things that interact with corpses. Okay, I see. Good point by Mattman. This is so I'm not someone who plays these kind of games usually. I usually play easy mobile games, but I do play like other games as well. So like yeah, makes sense. This is the first time you experience, and I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, like I feel like just by watching me do stuff, you're probably learning a lot already and how to do the tutorialization of things and stuff. I could see like once you have a tutorial, I could see it being like more focused at the beginning, like maybe one enemy, and it kind of walks me through the basic skills and stuff like that. But you know the game, I don't, like what's best, obviously. You can flee to town at any point. I'm going to pass. Am I going to die here? So that person's a corpse now, protagonist. So first aid. Can I use first aid on the corpse? I'm going to try. Yeah, I've been watching a bunch of people play to see how I want to make the tutorial. I think that's really smart, and Mattman's, that was a good point for saying that. I'm going to heal the protagonist. I don't think it really did anything. I guess once you get to corpse, you can't really heal past that. Skull Crusher. Probably should have used the first aid on myself. I think I died. Interesting. It almost always takes a few tries to win a fight, especially because the enemies you fight are random. Okay, interesting. Gouge. Let's get rid of the scavenger. I'm not really sure what the unique skills of them all are, but that works. Gouge. Gouge away. You can gouge away. Scrape. It said weak there, I think. Interesting. Ventron is weakened to physical, which can get you extra turns. Ventron is weakened to physical. Is weak to physical, which can get you extra turns. Okay, interesting. And so these are physical cards. So Ventron, let me go for them, I guess. They're susceptible to physical. Molotov is fire. Let me just do Gouge again on Ventron. Maybe it would have been better if I just focused on one person the whole time. Weak, it said. Okay, so weak means you're susceptible to damage. Okay, I thought it meant the attack I dealt was weak, but now it makes sense to me. Rapid shot. First aid. Let's try using first aid on Bounty Hunter. Pass. They're using first aid as well. Lash. Oh yeah, maybe they didn't use first aid. Scrape. Weak. Oh god. So let's gouge Ventron. First aid. And then we're going to put Ventron out of business because they're weak to that, and so that's extra damage, or double the turns. Oh, double the turns, I see. Let's use another first aid. So by attacking the weaknesses or whatever, I'm getting extra turns. I don't know how that exactly works, but I see myself getting extra turns, I think, so I think that makes sense. I'm going to heal Bounty Hunter again, and that's the end of my turn. See, these crystals kind of determine how many moves you get, I guess. And you get more crystals by attacking someone who's weak, I guess. So you get to double the turns. Okay. Eviscerate. 15 physical damage to an enemy. I'm guessing these logos up here are what they're weak to, but I'm not sure about that. Let's get the scavenger. That's all I can do. Pass. Embrace death. Zombie. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. Eviscerate. So this costs 2. That's why it takes 1 turn. You can hover over them for tooltips. You can hover over them for... Those are buff, debuff icons. Okay, that makes sense. You can hover over them for tooltips. I'm not seeing any tooltips, right? Oh, here it is. Bleed. Zombie. Can use skills. Fully zombified courses generate a crystal to throw around. Yeah, so this seems like a really deep game that I could see myself getting really hooked on once I like understand the full strategy of everything. I think this is really interesting. I could see a lot of like the with the different kinds of enemies, different kinds of attacks. Like I could see a lot of strategies. I don't play a lot of card games, but I imagine this is what playing a card game like Magic is kind of like. Obviously, I haven't done that. Let's pass. So they're taking damage each turn, which allows them to do zombie moves, I guess. I'm gonna gouge because that's all I need to do to get them out of business. Molotov. Let's do first aid. Let's play conservatively now that we have defeated an enemy. Not targeting icon is up there. Right now you are targeting, not while targeting icon. Oh, I see. I see for the tooltips. That makes sense. Zombie, embrace death. Interesting. Eviscerate. Pyro junkie. Next. Okay, a little bit of damage. I think I'm gonna win this. Okay, so now there's a bunch of stuff on top. Abduct. What should I do here? I can abduct. I don't know what that means. And now I see a bunch of new skills. Burn an enemy. An enemy permanently loses 6 HP. You can either take the unit or take one of its skills. Cool. Okay. Okay. I'm going to take the unit, I think. Let me look at the other skills. Pay 25 to deal 6 fire damage. Deal 4 physical damage to all enemies. Interesting. Fully burn all enemies. Burn all units and progress their burn. Enemy permanently loses 6 HP. Burn an enemy. I'm gonna take the enemy, the unit, just because my gut tells me that will help me out a lot more. I get like another attack each turn, right? Or do I? Let's keep going down this chain of progression. So now there's 4 enemies. Oh man. So now we got 3 crystals. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you do. Cool. This is cool. I'm like really fascinated by the strategy space here. Gouge, wound. So I could see like that there was one skill that allowed me to do 4 damage to all enemies. So I love the choices. That makes it really replayable to me. I'm like, oh, I want to replay again to like make other choices to see if there's better ways to do it. Ventron again, who you know is weak to physical, which helps. Cool, that makes sense. Is there any indication that they're weak to physical, or is that something I'm just supposed to know, or maybe that'll be obvious with future like visual indicators or something? Bleed an enemy. Gouge. I'm gonna gouge Ventron. Gouge again. You can gouge away. Okay, so this is a different type. This is Pyro Junkie. I like the idea that you might want to strategically, you might want to kill enemies and leave the one behind that you want to keep. So I like that possibility. That's interesting to me. The UI will update once you hit them with that type of damage for the first time. I see. Oh, that's cool. That's something that would encourage me to keep playing, to better understand and reveal the weaknesses and stuff. That's cool. Later on, there's a system of unlocks, and one of the unlocks is the ability to see resistances immediately. It means if you want a strong unit, you have to leave that dangerous unit alive or fight. Yeah, so I love all these decisions. To me, like so many choices. I'm loving this. This seems like balanced, lots of choices. This is a really cool gameplay system in my opinion. I don't play many of these games, but I see like the appeal of this. This is cool. So this is not a physical damage, so I'm gonna do it on someone else and make them lose 6 HP. Let's do it on... Let's try to keep the Grave Tender since they have the highest HP. Let's do permanent damage to Stalker. Gouge, physical damage, let's do Ventrin. I love that. I'm getting more confident now that I reveal. So I feel like revealing the weaknesses to me makes it get easier over time and make me more confident in my strategy. I feel like that's a good progression feeling to have. The ramping potential system makes it so the longer a fight goes on, the stronger the skills being used are. Okay, interesting. I see. So I don't fully understand the potential system yet, but I see that effect. That's cool. Interesting. Gouge, Ventrin, pass. Embrace death. Ruminate, focusing, expose. That was the lightning strike. Expose and enrage in a unit. Okay, so now all these buffs are coming up. Enrage +1 attack, -1 defense. Expose increases weakness damage, taken 1 per stack. Damage against full exposed units bypasses null, reflect and absorb. Focus +1 weakness. Take 1 physical damage per stack. Okay, gouge. We can get rid of Ventrin. Let's do something crazy. Molotov, Stalker. I would use first aid, but it seems like we're doing pretty good right now. Wildfire, burn all units, progress their burn. Let's do it. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm not confident using burn because I'm not sure how much that hurts them each turn, but that's okay. I'm just gonna do it for now. So rapid shot, for example, requires 4, which will usually be on turn 3 or 4. Oh, that's how. So that's what you mean by potential. That's why those things are blacked out. So I didn't understand why those things were blacked out. Now it totally makes sense to me. That's cool. I see. So it's all making sense to me, I think, a lot of it. I thought I was going to be way over my head, but I'm like, it's more comprehensible. Obviously, you're explaining some stuff to me, but I think a lot of this stuff I would eventually get out of the game. I wouldn't get the ramping potential, but that makes sense to me. Pass. So this is the burn. They all got a couple damage points. So I'm guessing it's better to start the burn early on, so it's more worthwhile. And again, I'm just like saying everything that comes to my head, so you hear what my like subconscious thoughts are when I'm playing. Okay, I was gonna leave Grave Tender alone. Let's keep getting the Stalker. Gouge, wound, bleed an enemy. Let's gouge Stalker. Molotov, scrape. Let's do a Molotov on Stalker. That was 8 points. Wildfire, burn all units, whittle, an enemy permanently loses 6 HP. Let's get to the Arcanist. I probably should have gotten rid of Stalker, so they didn't have an attack this time, but that's okay. The team that goes second starts with an extra potential. Okay, interesting. That makes sense. The UI, I like that you're considering balancing that small detail. That makes sense to me. The UI is updated to show you that Grave Tender is weak to fire. Grave Tender is weak to fire. The UI has updated. Where in the UI does it say Grave Tender is weak to fire? Is it when I select a fire skill that it shows? Because this says zombie. I don't see anything in the UI. When you select a fire skill, it shows colored target icons. Okay, cool. That's what I was wondering. That makes sense to me. Eviscerate, deal 15 damage to an enemy. Oh, baby. Arcanists are going down. So Molotov is fire. And we see the targeting right here. I think it'd be cool if it was a little more obvious, but you can do that later. Maybe if it was like if this little symbol was like kind of scaling in and out, that would drag my attention a little bit more. I think I'd put that together easier. But I don't want to hurt them. Gun damage. Let's see if this reveals anything for Arcanist. Wildfire, burn all units, snow, whittle. We're gonna whittle Arcanist. They permanently lose 6 HP. Does that deduct 6 points from their 13? Yes, it does. Okay, glad I did that. Pass. Raise. Revive an ally. What? Okay, we're gonna destroy these middle two. I'm glad. It feels good to not be taking so much damage as the last fights. This feels like I'm doing good. Deal 15 damage to an enemy. Don't need to do that. Gouge. Stalker's done. Scrape. Arcanist is done. Let's do Wildfire. Pass. It's interesting that that stuff happens when they're zombies. Yeah, the damage you take is heavily dependent on the enemies you fight. Right now it's fully random because the encounter system isn't finished. Okay, that makes sense. Eviscerate. Deal 15 damage. We're gonna damage. Okay, so that would be good for Ventrin. We're gonna use it on Gravetender. Rapid shot. Damage. I don't need to do first aid. This one has the most. Oh, and Gravetender's weak to it, like Exandra said. So let's attack it. 8 points weak. Extra. Wildfire, Whittle. So I'm afraid Whittle would permanently damage Gravetender, so I'm not going to do that. An enemy permanently loses. Burn enemy. Let's use Wildfire. Okay, so they get a turn. Their burn almost put them down below 0. Gouge. Boom. Abduct. Okay, so let's look at the skills. Bury. Pay 2A. I'm not sure what paying 3 or 2A means. Revive an ally corpse. That's cool. So I love the choice. I want a 4th member, but Raise seems super powerful. Actually, if you destroy the corpse, the last unit you kill, you instead get whatever ruin was farthest to the right. If you destroy the corpse of the last unit you kill, you instead get whatever unit was furthest to the right. Okay, that makes sense. Scheme. Pass the turn to an ally and zombify them. Grudge. Zombify an ally. Zombie. So I think zombie makes them carry on after death, so they can still be a part of it. That's my summation, but I'm not sure that's totally right. I want to abduct Gravetender. If you take Gravetender, he can cast Raise for you. Oh! I'm taking Gravetender. So as long as I keep him, I have Raise in that Gravetender. I see. So I'm guessing this is... Okay, this is one of the 4 bosses. I like that it's like a... You can kind of choose your path. This is interesting. It's random, so it doesn't matter too much, but it does matter in the sense like how you... Like in the order you do the bosses. Like right now, I think I'm good to go against the boss since I have 4 members, so maybe that's a good idea. If you get full zombie, they still give you crystals as if they were alive. This is an elite encounter, not a boss yet. Okay, I see. Alright, so we got the 4 people. I think I'm going to stop after this round so I can get some lunch, but then I'll be back around 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time to kind of start working on game dev stuff, but I want to finish this elite encounter first. Deal 5 physical damage to an enemy. So now there's there's 1 Gravetender, but the other ones are new, I believe. Thanks for trying out the game. Really helpful. Thank you for sharing the game. I love being exposed to new games you guys are working on. This has been really awesome. Like, good for exposure. I love giving feedback on games like this. It's one of my favorite things to do. Beating this unlocks the boss. Oh, okay. Let's try it. Infuser. So now I'm more comfortable. I can kind of... Oh, okay, so that was the weakness. It's physical. Let's freaking exploit that. Ignite. Burn an enemy. An enemy permanently loses 6 HP. I kind of like focusing on 1 enemy at a time, so I'm just going to do that. Embrace death. So zombified corpses can use zombie skills. Can generate a crystal at the start of a round. Let's do it to Gravetender. So I'm zombifying myself. I'm gonna gouge Infuser. He's weak to that. Gouge. I keep thinking of the Gouge Away song by the freaking forgot the name. Having a brain fart. Pass. I'd like to test it too. Where can I find it, please? Awesome, Dev Yeti. I'd love to know what Dev Yeti thinks of this as well. Resist. Okay, so I had resistance against that. I was weak to that attack. Interesting. Gouge away. Okay, they're about to die. Let's do it. Okay, that ended up doing 8 damage, so I'm glad I did that. So there's a corpse now. Burn all units and progress burn. I can burn my own units? Whittle. Let's permanently damage Magma Trooper. Raise. Revive an ally corpse. Don't need to do that. Pass the turn to an ally and zombify them. That's interesting. I don't know confidently how to do that yet. Are you on Discord with us, Exandra? If you already had... Okay. One thing I like about starting from one potential is it helps not get overwhelmed by having all your skills right away. That is a great analysis of that. I totally feel you on that. Because at the beginning, yeah, for most of them I get like 2 choices, and yeah, I like that. Like the decision tree gets bigger as you go on. That totally is a good point. Thanks for calling that out. That makes sense. If you already had 24 skills to think about using, it would be impossible to choose one on what turn to do on turn 1. That makes sense. Having more minimal choices also makes it so that it's more easy to kind of figure out a right answer for a wrong answer, which is exactly what you're saying. If you had 24, it's like, okay, I don't know exactly what's the best thing to do. That makes sense. I can join, says Alexandra. I was going on the game like tutorial, like I need it, and then at first fight, what do I do? LOL. Embrace, grudge, scheme, raise, zombify an ally. So like I'm nervous about zombifying an ally because I'm just not totally confident in that, but I could do that. Zombify an ally. Let's zombify Pyro Junkie since they have the most damage done to them already. Gouge, wound. Let's wound Magma Trooper. So every couple, he'll get like 1 or 2 damage each turn, I think. Zombie just means if the ally dies, they can keep using skills. Oh, cool. So now I'm really incentivized to do that. Cool. Molotov, scrape, Molotov, magma. Null. Okay, so it didn't work there. Pass. Deal 4 damage. Yikes. There's zombifying. So far, example, if you spend a bunch of turns buffing up a unit and you don't have any good revival skills, you could zombify them instead. Cool, I love this decision tree. That's really interesting. Never heard the word gouge, lol. Gouge is an English word. I'm familiar with that word. Canada, Australia, that word would be used there too. I think, Dev Yeti, was it you that's from France? There's a song called Gouge Away by a band that's really famous that I freaking can't remember the name of. It's pretty embarrassing. So I see. So they can keep using skills if they're a zombie. That's really cool. So I tried gouge. Oh no, let's do gouge on magma. I tried doing like something on them and it didn't work. So Molotov, now it says, oh, it doesn't work against them. So that's their like null thing. Okay, that makes sense to me. Let's try magma. Let's try Molotov on Gravetender. Or do we want to do Rub Shot? Let's do Molotov. Explosion. Deal 4 physical damage to all enemies. I dig that. Pay 25 to deal 6 damage to all enemies. Let's do Explosion. Cool. It worked on all of them a little bit. Raise. Despair. Pay 2/8 to make an enemy deathbound. Let's try that. Gouge. So it didn't work on them. We tried it on magma. It works. That is pay 2S, which means 2 strength. It's missing an icon. Okay, strength. I see. So it hurts the strength, but it causes a lot of damage. Okay, that makes sense. I haven't implemented the text engine for card text yet. Strength is the red colored potential. Okay. Which is right here. Potential determines which skills can be used. And it's the red one for that. Okay, for strength. That makes sense. I see that now. Eviscerate. Deal 15 physical damage to an enemy. So I'm guessing these are like the potential that you need to do it. Let's do it on Grave Tender. Let's do it on Magma since they're almost done. That almost killed them. We can gouge them now. They're done. Pass. So my Grave Tender is now a zombie. My Bounty Hunter is about to die. Eviscerate, deal 15 physical damage to Grave Tender since it doesn't work on Ripjaw. First aid. I'm not going to do that. Let's do it. On myself. I was hoping to zombify, but I probably shouldn't have done that first aid then. Let's pass. Embrace death, zombify, deal 4 physical damage to an enemy. Eviscerate. So I'm not going to use the... I think this costs my turns. Maybe that's what that 4 means. Rip Jaws is resist, which is -1 damage. Okay. Let's just use this on Grave Tender. They're almost gone. I have 1 more gem now left. First aid. Bounty Hunter. Pass. So we just have 1 more to go. Rip Jaws is resist. Looks cool, says Dev Yeti. Maybe you could use a little easier and shorter fight at first to keep people in it. There's a lot of possibility attacks for a first fight. Maybe you should unlock them with a tutorial fight to show what advantage they give between each other. That seems like really good feedback, Dev Yeti. Especially the part about an easy fight at the beginning. Also, the first time I played, I died, partially because I didn't know what I was doing, but because it's also kind of randomy a little bit. And they said they're working on a tutorial for the beginning, but I think, like you're saying, yeah, the tutorial has not been implemented yet. It will be completely different to how it looks right now. Cool, makes sense. Because, yeah, I think WA is right. Like, that first initial experience should be a positive one. Because if I lose my first time, it's kind of a negative experience and tells me this game might not be for me, it might be hard. Oh, sorry, wasn't there, says Dev Yeti. But yeah, so I think it makes sense, like, yeah, like, giving them some kind of onboarding experience to this, designing in such a way that gives them a positive experience, makes them confident in what they're doing. That's going to totally change the way that people play this game. Totally makes sense. But like having you help me onboard it and telling me what would be in the tutorial, I feel like I have like a good understanding of all this, and I don't really play complex kind of games like this very much. So I think this is like a good system. I think the tooltips really help actually. And I could see like all these features to make it more clear, and the tutorial is really going to help. So I see a lot of potential in this. This is really cool. That bounty hunter unit, because at first I was like, okay, wound, but why would I use wound if I had Molotov? Yeah, that bounty hunter unit you have is actually going to be the tutorial guy. Okay, I see. So you start by fighting him alone. Then he joins you and teaches you about abducting and butchering units. That totally makes sense. And it totally makes sense with Dev Yeti's feedback about introducing the skills over time, kind of. Like, I think that totally makes sense. Poor bounty hunter, says Dev Yeti. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. Eviscerate. Oh, it doesn't work. I just saw that. Resist, but it still did 17 damage. Rapid shot. First aid. I don't need to do first aid because my protagonist is doing really well. I'm wondering, one thing I don't know is after I get out of this fight, is my Grave Tender dead, or because I won, do I get to keep him? So that's one thing I'm wondering. Rapid fire. Let's see if this does any special damage. Okay, just normal 8. Pyre. Fully burns all enemies. Don't need to do that. Burn all enemies. Whittle. Let's do whittle on Huss. Let's leave them alive. Burn. Pyre. Fully burn all enemies. Let's just do that. Whatever. It probably took too many points for me to do that, but that's okay. Everyone heals to full after battle. Cool, that's great to know. Nice idea. Use the Sundre. What's the cursor span behind your window, bro? Light show. It keeps getting worse too. I don't know what that is. I have no idea. I have no idea about what that is. Okay, so that person revived Gravetender with that zombie thing. I'm thinking, okay, so I'm gonna put them out of business here. I probably should use that 15 damage on them first. That was a mistake. Expose. Okay, well now we can kill them here. Maybe. Permanently loses 6 HP. There we go. So I can abduct them, but I already have 4, so I can maybe replace one of them, I'm thinking. I can also manage units here. Or I could pick a skill butcher. Pay 2D to fully bleed an enemy, jugular stuff. You can have up to 8 units to swap them out. Okay. Interesting. So I guess I'll do that. Abduct. And so this unlocks a boss. Okay, let's try this, and then after this I'm gonna go for a lunch break. 4 in your party, 4 in your inventory. Got it. So I probably should have managed my party before going in here, but that's okay. I'm thinking I should go for this big bad guy first. Let's see if that's a good strategy. Gouge, gouge. Whittle. Oops. Zombie. I'm going to zombify myself. Pass. Alexander, what did inspire you? This game is inspired by a huge amount of games from different genres. They mentioned like Magic the Gathering, and then that other game that they mentioned too. A lot of inspiration from Shin Megami Tensei. Cool. Magic the Gathering, Darkest Dungeon, which we looked at, Slay the Spire, Path of Exile. Whole bunch of other stuff. Cool. I like the way that you gain inspiration from other games and stuff. That's really cool. Gouge. I'm going for the Rebel Valkyrie. Rapid shot. Don't need to heal. Let's do fire damage to Rebel. I'm looking for what their weakness is. Oh, I found it. That's going to help us out a lot with the big bad guy. I'm confident that... So right now, I feel confident that I have the chance of winning, which after I saw the 150 number, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to win. But now I'm like, oh, I think I have a chance. So that's cool, especially now that I've discovered their weakness. I'm going to burn all of them. That's probably going to help me in the long run. Raise, scheme, zombify an ally. I'm going to zombify my protagonist. Gouge. Deal 5 physical damage. Pass. Tongue face. Magic the Gathering. Hope you're talking about the one in a holy game. Chandler the Gathering, open world. The bosses are quite hard, but they reward you heavily for learning the turn system. That totally makes sense. That's cool. There's another one joined. I missed it, but they must use a skill that recruited someone else. That's interesting. I'm still going for the Rebel Valkyrie. I'm guessing they were the one that added someone else, so let's just destroy them first. So all these 3 are extra susceptible to this fire damage. That's awesome. Let's keep burning all units. Once in a while, I see a visual glitch where it zooms in. This is just a little visual bug that doesn't even matter. Then when we hit pass, oh, yeah, so it's a little too zoomed in right now, I think. It's harder to see on my screen, but... Gouge. And now it's back to normal. Deals 7 fire damage, so they're all susceptible to that. Weak. Wildfire. This is awesome. I'm really digging the wildfire and burning them all, and they're all susceptible to fire. Makes me feel smart. Interesting. I wonder why the tween got stuck. Yeah, it's happening. It wasn't happening before, but now it's starting to happen. I think this match is the first time that I've seen it, actually. Pass. Ricochet. Deal for gun damage. Maybe I'm like making my decisions fast and it's stopping the tween halfway or something. Or it's probably something else, actually. Eviscerate. Deal 15 physical damage. Boom. Rapid shots. Fire damage. Extra bad. Oh, but I'm kind of low on health. Screw it. Weak. Explosion. Deal 4 physical damage. Pay 25 to deal 6 fire damage to all enemies. Let's do it. They're all weak to it, so I knew it would be a good decision. Raise. So I have the zombie that can raise stuff. That's good. Pay 2/8 to make an enemy deathbound. Scheme. Grudge. They should be zombifying more people. Let me zombify Bounty Hunter before they die. I think that makes sense. Normally fast decisions are fine. I play very quickly. Gotcha. Yeah, you're right. It's probably something else. Well, so I keep forgetting to see. I keep looking at the chat, but I keep missing how they keep recruiting new people. I'm guessing it's the Rebel Valkyrie that does that. So once I destroy them, then they'll stop appearing. Deal 15 physical damage to an enemy. Let's do that on the Valkyrie. Recruit. I'm going to do Molotov on Rebel so that they are destroyed. I'm going to do Whittle on Valkyrie. So I need another turn. Oh man, so 2 of them are corpses, but they're both zombies. Gouge, eviscerate, they're done. I did it, guys! I beat the boss! Let's go! That feels really awesome. Feels super smart for doing that. An interesting note here, you can get boss skills if you kill the boss last. Ugh! But it's more difficult, right? Obviously, that is extremely dangerous. Nice, first try. I love the way you're balancing this game in all these different ways. And like you just highlighted there, I love that risk versus reward decision. Like you said, like, that makes it, like, so much more interesting, you know? Like, sometimes in the RPGs, like, it's kind of boring because you always know, like, what the right decision to do is, kind of. But here, there's, like, okay, there's the right decision for strategic reasons. But for the long-term value, if you're able to pull this off, like, you can do, if you feel extra confident or you're extra good at the game, you can go for, like, the boss last. And yeah, that totally makes sense. I think that is amazing. That's a great mechanic. And you can see what their skills are. I'm gonna butcher since I just hadn't done that before. Cool, so that was the boss. I dig that. And you're trying to, like, do all these elite puzzles to unlock all the bosses. I like that you can choose when to do the boss, so you can, like, keep playing to build up for when you're ready for the boss. I think that's really cool. So many choices, so many little systems of choices. I'm really digging this. I think this is really awesome. This is a run-based game, so if you lose a battle, you lose all your progress on the map, but you keep your progress on bosses and elites. That totally makes sense. That's cool. I could see that adding a lot of replayability. I hope you keep updating us on this in our community, like on Discord and elsewhere. Like, I'm really excited to keep seeing how this game progresses and seeing how you implement the tutorial and all that stuff. This is really awesome. I'm wondering, is this a PC game, a Steam game, or are you trying to make it for mobile? Or I'm curious what your, like, release strategy is. I'm gonna end my current run here because I gotta go eat lunch. I can manage my units here, so I can swap out people. That's cool. I'm going to release on PC, but I might go mobile eventually. Yeah, I would love to have a mobile version of this. It feels really good for that, you know, since it's just tapping and stuff. Like, I think it could be great for mobile. And since it's like once you die, you can keep playing, you know, like, I think that's great for mobile as well. It's fully click driven, so it should be fine on at least tablet. Totally makes sense. I could see, yeah, maybe you're right that the buttons may be too small for mobile, but you could probably redesign the little buttons and stuff like that for mobile in other ways, the UI stuff. But totally makes sense to release on Steam first. That totally makes sense. And that's where, like, the more hardcore gamers are anyway. Yeah, so awesome. Thank you so much, Alexandra, for following, and thank you so much for having us play this game. And I love playing games early on because you get to, like, it's easier to kind of give feedback to developers because they're still building the game and they're looking for feedback as opposed to after it's done already, you know. So I love, like, playing these games early on and seeing their process and everything like that. This is so awesome. Thanks for trying out. Thank you, Alexandra. Let me know when you add new features to the game so I can play it on a future stream. When you implement the tutorial, for example, I'd love to play it again on the stream or whatever else you think is good. I'm going to end my current run here. And then I could restart. I see what you're saying. Cool. Nice. Dev Yeti says, did you plan to change the meeple or you like it like this? Yeah, I'll be working on tutorial, shop system, and other progression stuff. Cool. Okay, shop system. The artist placeholder, each unit will have proper art. I'm really curious to see what the aesthetic that you go for is. I'm going to be making this into a full commercial release over time. That is really exciting. I think this game has a lot of promise, that gameplay system. Like, I love how you took inspiration from all these different games, and I especially, as I said, I love the risk versus reward. I love the insane level of choice that often I don't feel with a lot of RPGs, so this is awesome. Well, meeple are already cool, says Dev Yeti. I agree. The icons are largely from Shin Megami Tensei on SNES. Gotcha. That makes sense. Cool. They are the enemy icons from that game, which they also used as turn icons for Shin Megami Tensei 4. Gotcha. Makes sense to use that kind of art while you're focusing on the gameplay and stuff like that. Cool, so I'm going to move towards ending the stream for now. I think I'll be back in the afternoon to GameDev if anyone's curious about that. We can GameDev together. At least I think that's what I want to do this afternoon. Thank you all for watching the stream. If there's anything else you'd like to say about this game, or if you want people to go to your website or anything, Xandra, please let me know now. And bon appetit, says Dev Yeti. I also know that French word as well. I know that French phrase. Bon appetit. I'm gonna enjoy my lunch. Yeah, thanks again for Xandra. Feel free to share the link or in the Discord if you join. Feel free there. Going to sleep soon. See you tomorrow, Dev Yeti. Cool. I'll see you tomorrow too, Dev Yeti. Excited to have you again tomorrow or whenever you can join us again. Have a good one, guys. Says Xandra. Cool. Peace out, everyone. That was really fun. I can pop it in the Discord. Awesome. I'd love you to do that. See you, Tubesoft. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Excited to stream again tomorrow. I'll probably be back to work on code in the afternoon, but we'll be playing as many games, but in the mornings, Monday through Friday, starting at like 9 or 10 a.m., I love to do these gameplay feedback sessions. See y'all. Thanks for